You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
Welcome, everybody. Guess who's here?
It's us again. I bet you guys were surprised that we are here today.
And guess who's not here?
Oh. Okay, hold on. Give me some hints. Give me some hints.
We all love him, but at the same time we hate him.
Okay.
He is known for a very hurtful nickname.
Okay, how many letters are in his first name?
Like 172.
Okay.
He's old as fuck.
Okay. Beep. I'll beep that. Okay, keep going.
And he's known as like a doo-doo.
Okay, so
Like
let me
a
take a
doi-doi.
guess. Off of that, I think Dean Kearney's not going to be here today.
Dean Kern is definitely not going to be here today.
Okay.
You got that one right.
Okay, so that's it?
That's it.
Awesome. So, guys, we're sorry Dean couldn't make the show today, but we're going to keep going on.
What show, by the way?
Maximum Driftcast, the
Oh.
only drifting podcast where we're missing guests again because our dear friend Sam is traveling. So
Yeah.
we're going to be missing Sam today, so hopefully you guys can bear with us.
Oh, look at
and
that.
there's
His-
a picture of Sam spray painting his mouth with Mad Mike.
Metallic paint on his mouth. I think he almost died after doing that stunt.
That was real spray paint, right?
It was real spray. It was hair paint, actually.
Okay.
But it's still, he said he could taste it for days.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I remember him going into it, but I was like, did he really use the real spray paint? Because I know he bought a couple different variations, but it makes sense. If it's good enough for your hair,
It's good enough for your mouth.
You can start seasoning steaks. And
Yeah, I mean, if it makes you look good, it's probably going to make you feel good.
Nice.
You know?
Dude,
I
I'm
think.
super
Oh, dude, that would be great. Like seasoning a steak with
hairspray?
a colored hairspray.
Gives a nice,
Like-
beautiful char.
Like a very shiny flake.
Just
I
a
would say.
beautiful flake. So,
Yeah.
yep, Sam's not here with us. We have Big Balls. Hi, Big Balls. Brian, what are you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hi, welcome back. It sounds like you had a
good to be
pretty
back.
exciting a week. I saw some Instagrams of you flying around. What's that all about?
Fred Lump gave me an LS 400.
Jesus.
Just throw. All right.
Everybody just give him LS 400s for Brian.
I'm just not gonna.
You get an
an
LS 400.
You get an LS 400.
And you get an LS. Everybody.
So okay, hold on. I need to learn this.
How to get
How to get
cars?
free cars. So Brian,
You have to crush
what
them.
is the secret to now being an LS 400 car collector, and how do you get them for free? Go ahead, tell us the secret.
I don't know. Just roll the dice, smash a car, and see if you get lucky.
All right, so borrow your friend's car. Go ahead and crash it, guys. Hopefully they'll be nice enough to give it to you after you crash it. That should be a pretty exciting deal. So,
And then your drift friends will give you another one of the same car.
dude,
It's a
2 for
win-win,
1.
dude.
If you
Like-
crash one of your friend's car, you may get another one gifted to you.
Yeah, that is nicer.
Just as like, hey man, we saw you crash your car. Here's another one. Crash this one.
And then you said, "Hey, we heard you were getting this free car, so we're gonna give you another one."
Awesome. Well,
Well, I'll be honest. It feels like like when you win a big jackpot at Vegas. That's what it felt like. It felt like that
haven't
kind of
done
rare of a win on that. So
I've won. How much have I won in Vegas before? If I do the math, I'm still down about $1,500 in Vegas. I have not won yet. So when I go to Vegas, the only way you win is if you buy those 4-foot margaritas.
Oh, I always
That's shaped in like a
yeah, like that.
like in
the yards.
yeah, the yardsticks, dude.
I was afraid
That's the
to
only
say
way
the
you
wrong
win in
word.
Vegas if you buy a yardstick of booze.
I always play these machines. They're like big square,
Yep.
and they only have like 8 buttons,
Okay.
and it doesn't matter which button you press, you always get a prize.
Really?
Yeah, they usually say like Coca-Cola or
Oh
Sprite.
yeah. You put a couple bucks
put
in, you push it.
and I always win every single
dude.
time. I get a prize.
Yeah, I gotta find those machines. I don't have much luck. when
Best
I-
return of investment ever.
So that's cool, Brian. Congrats on another car. What are you gonna do with it, anyways?
I took some footage of it. I'm going to post on my vlog the details of the car, but it's It looks like it came out from like the Fast and Furious 2 era,
Okay.
with its styling.
Yep.
For the interior, it's got TV screens on the. It's pretty cool. It's a trip.
Was there TV?
There's TV screens on the headsets. There's
Okay.
this TV screen that comes out of the
Pop
dash
up.
and flips up, and it's got its own manifold with a danger warning label on it.
It's
and,
got nitrous. The nitrous is hidden under the passenger seat.
it's got a rear like a aftermarket rear view camera, like a little camera on there. Some old school.
Be just
tech.
perfect. So you got a perfect car for free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and it's actually last time it was registered is 2003.
Yeah.
So it's about the Fast and Furious
Yeah.
era for
Well,
sure.
congratulations, Brian. And you ended up going out with him too.
Yeah,
didn't you, Yako?
I went with Brian because we had to do some doof delivery.
Oh boy, you're giving
And,
out. So what you did is, hold on, you're doing some was it people that messaged you on Instagram?
What do you mean, like?
Because we told people last.
Oh, yeah,
episode,
yeah. Like
message
immediately.
Paco, and Paco will hand deliver.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
assuming that's what it was.
Yeah, so John Schmo got free doof. Harry Berry got free doof.
Okay.
And no, but actually, no, the real people actually, Odi Bakshis needed some parts, so those
Okay.
parts were delivered. My bad, sorry. Ryan Literal,
Okay.
he's running our kit now, and he got all his parts. And one more driver that I can't reveal just yet
Oh. Why?
because like red tape.
Red tape.
Yeah.
What does
so
that
we
mean?
delivered. Like
Top
red tape.
Somebody
secret.
died while you were delivering a kit.
That's yellow tape.
So there's red tape, so you just can't talk about it.
Yeah, I can't just talk about it just yet. But after that, we stopped by Chris Forsberg's shop just to hang out a little bit.
Okay.
And funny things, he was doing his new vlog. I don't know
Okay.
if you check it out.
Everybody's vlogging.
Everybody's vlogging.
We got Big Balls vlogging. We got Paco
Yeah,
vlogging.
Corey's
Gam vlogging.
I think we should talk about vlogging today, but let's talk
We'll
about
we'll figure that
we'll
out.
get that out of the way. But anyways, yeah, he was doing his vlog and he came out with his camera checking, like they just went at it on the LS400 because that thing is, I mean, you have to see it. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Is it at your house already?
Yeah, it's at home. It's got some decals from like some really old shops from back in the era, and like he just knew what they were just looking at all of them.
Recognizing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And after that, we just hang out and. Which, by the way, thanks Chris and Mitch for letting us stay the night because obviously we got very drunk and we couldn't drive
Paco,
back to
come
Arizona.
on. Come on, man.
Just kidding. We didn't
Who
get.
did you spoon with?
We didn't get. No, didn't spoon with nobody. Just
You
by
didn't try
myself.
sneaking into Forsberg's room in the middle of the night or anything?
Nah,
Like
I think he locks his door.
yeah,
at
you already
night.
tried. He wiggled the handle. No, he definitely locked
How
the
do you
door.
know?
Yeah.
I was just like,
I wiggled the door and Forsberg's door was locked. Oh, that's good. I was figuring you'd go in there and get a
so yeah,
surprise him.
and then we just came back next morning.
Beautiful. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds like a good trip.
Yeah.
I went out of town too.
Yeah, what did you do?
I packed up the bags. We rented a truck. Me and Kaylee went out to Vegas.
Oh, speaking of,
Because I wanted to lose more money because we went gambling.
that's
No.
what makes perfect sense.
So we made a one-day turnaround trip to Vegas because we ended up dropping off the 2JZ
Uh-oh.
remaining parts out to Universal Machine out in Vegas. So now we're getting the engine built. Should have probably started today. So Universal Machine's going to do the pistons, the rods, the valve springs, the crank, the headwork. Should be done. We got about 2 weeks before we go pick it up and send it back to PSI in Portland Speed Industries. But yeah, we're going to have a super strong 2J this year.
Nice.
And it's kind of weird saying 2J. I almost said LS because I'm so used to saying LS. I've never driven a 2J car before.
Oh, that guarantees
But-
success.
Yeah, so I want to start calling Forrest. Me and Forrest will be BFFs. So hopefully he'll give me some insight on that. But yeah, as I was there, actually, I saw two of Forrest's motors.
Oh, really?
There, yeah. So
They're
getting-
working on they're the people working on Forest's engines.
Yep. So the same people building Forrest. Forrest is going to be running. I think he's running all the BC stuff, but he's running a stock 3, not a stock 3 liter. He's running a built 3 liter. He's not stroking it like he usually does. So he's going to be running a 3 liter, and then I'm going to be running a 3 liter. And as I was talking to the guys, I was like, dude, why don't you guys like go out and like run the 3.2 or the bigger stroked 2Js? And they said it's just so much harder on the equipment. So I think James Dean has obviously proven a point with, you know what, keep that stock 3 liter because it's a lot easier for that engine to last. And he didn't change an engine all season. He did have
Yeah.
a spare out in Irwindale, but he didn't touch it all year.
He
It's
never
kind of a-
lifted.
Yeah, never lifted, never slowed down. But yeah, so that's the same route. We're going to go to that 3 liter life, 2JZ, and then yeah, hopefully by February or March, we'll be doing some burnouts. I went out of town, super stoked. Oh, it's funny while I'm reading the comments on Facebook, everybody's like, "Well, what are you doing pistons and rod wise. So, anyways, it's going to be a 10.5-to-1 compression Wiseco boost line pistons, boost line rods, and then we have the Kelford 272 cams and the Kelford springs and retainers. So that's pretty much the gist of the build I'm going with.
That's you're giving away the secrets.
That's all right. Take them. Hopefully it works. Hopefully I
this is a learning show.
Yep.
You people just been learned.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. That's learning for the
By the
day.
way, funny thing I just remembered. So while we were hanging out at Forsberg's, Rad Dan, he came out hang out with his wife Renee, and also Chris Mady and Jessica, his girlfriend. They came hang out, and it's funny because we were talking and. Red Dan looked at me because Red Dan was at Desert Mayhem. Remember that he showed up with a Cadillac, and he saw the LS 400 drifting and all that. But he looked at me and was like, "Hey man, so what's going on like with that guy who crashed your car at the Desert Mayhem?" And everybody just looked at Brian. It's like, "It's right there."
That's the guy.
And Dan was like, "Oh my god,
I'm sorry,
sorry."
my bad.
Yeah, Brian just gave the story and. It makes it like it was nothing bad, but he kind of like wanted to know what happened.
Oh yeah, should we talk about what we're going to be giving away here?
Which by the way, yeah, we have some new stuff.
Yeah, so this year, we're trying to go over the top with a bunch of different things. We're obviously now, if you guys didn't know, we're streaming on all major platforms of social media now. We have a website. We have so many things changing, but now guess what?
What do you have over there, Corey?
We have our own Maximum Driftcast trophies that we'll be giving away. They're carbon fiber.
Oh, I've never seen anybody doing that.
So we'll be giving these away. So stay tuned on that. These are custom built.
I'm going to give them to the winners, right?
Yeah, to the winners of every Driftcast that we have. All the winners are going to be getting.
Show both sides how legit it is.
Yeah, so this is.
there you go.
Yeah, this is a real thing.
Yeah, so these are real trophies for you guys. We'll be giving those away.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, no worries. Was that a pretty good commercial?
Nice. So self-promoting our show while we're doing our show. I think there's nothing wrong with that, Corey. Well, I mean, and speaking of self-promotion, so two things. First, if you guys saw, before going into our website, actually, I started a new video series.
Okay.
It's literally, it was named by you, actually.
Okay.
It's Paco's Roofless Garage.
Sweet.
And pretty much what I'm doing is building all my crappy cars and all that stuff that you guys keep asking me questions. And I'm just working on them instead of having people work on them because I think I can do this stuff. I know how to weld. I know how to fabricate stuff. I know basic mechanic work. And the idea is that I want to show that you can do a lot of this stuff with fairly cheap tools that you just buy either Harbor Freight or Home Depot. Nothing extremely expensive because it's a home garage. So these are going to be home garage builds. And so, I'm going to be uploading probably every other weekend. And, if you guys check out the series, I'll make sure to put a link somewhere so you guys can check it out. There's one episode up. And then the next thing I wanted to mention real quick. Yeah, so if you guys have seen our new website, Corey, we already posted like 3 or 4 articles and news. And one of the news that we posted on today after listening to some rumors, we woke up to some weird rumors saying that Formula Drift was being sold to Go. Ooh. There you go. Oh. Welcome to Maximum Driftcast, the only news Driftcast show.
Let's just move along.
There was like a rumor that Formula Drift was being sold to NASCAR.
Yep,
and a lot of people just like talking and speculating, and this is great, and some people were like, this sucks, blah blah blah. So we talk about it. We made an article, and we call Ryan Sage asking for hey man, like. People saying this stuff, and he says he's like, oh, this is news for me too. Like, no idea, So just so people know, Formula Drift is not selling to NASCAR. There hasn't been any talks to NASCAR at all. So
it's kind of interesting you say that because it would be kind of a cool flop if somebody, or what you would see if somebody like them ended up purchasing Formula Drift, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of like an interesting deal to watch? Because
I think it'll be cool.
I don't think it would be a bad thing either.
Yeah, I think at least some NASCAR involvement, because NASCAR involved on Formula Drift would make Formula Drift kind of like their asset, and they obviously want their asset to grow up. There'll be more media. There will be more push from NASCAR to cover those events. More, in my opinion, more sponsors will take interest on the event as well, and that would translate into more people watching and more coverage for the drivers.
Well, what's funny is you kind of see the hype that the FIA brought. Everybody was excited to see what FIA could do with drifting, but they kind of turned it over to somebody that was already involved with drifting, and so it was almost the same results as if they were running their own organization as far as the attendance and things like that. We were hoping that the FIA broadcast or the network that FIA has would able to distribute it to a larger network, which they may have. I don't know the official stats or numbers on it. But NASCAR has so many resources that they could bring in manufacturers, or they could restructure it to bring in manufacturers. They have the funding to, if they can rent super speedways and Talladegas for 3 weeks at a time, and what would it be to do that? But the interesting thing is where I would think that rumor could possibly be real is because NASCAR is unfortunately right now not running its best year. You know what I mean? NASCAR slowly fizzling out because these other forms of motorsports are coming in and capturing that younger audience. And NASCAR, there's still a bunch of old timers watching it. And the thing is, you'll watch some of the events, even if they're running at Michigan or Texas or outside of Daytona, you could see that the stands are just slowly kind of fizzling out. So I could see why NASCAR would have interest in Formula D, because once again, it's that motorsports that it's targeting the younger audience. And NASCAR has, specifically said, how do we capture that younger audience? And so I could still see it being possibly true or real, or maybe even something would happen in the future, but it could be a really cool deal.
I personally think the best thing NASCAR could do is start turning right a little more often.
Right, other than 2 times a year.
There's just twice a year.
Yeah.
Because after how many rounds do they have?
I don't know. It'd be somewhere 30 to 40. Do you remember?
There's a lot of races. One weekend after another after another.
Do you remember when we had that conversation of how much tires they go through? It's like 15, 20,000, 36,000 tires.
I just think if they had a little bit more racing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the appeal of NASCAR. It's not easy to do these only left turning at those speeds constantly. So even the guys from Top Gear, who always shitted on NASCAR for a while, they have, they covered NASCAR, and they actually agreed, this takes balls and is a lot of skills, more than what most people thinks.
Right.
But it's the watching that is not that that's exciting. And I think people's more excited about the crashes and that, and maybe some passes that, you can go 30 laps without a single pass. I don't even know how, the commentators they do a great job of keep talking while nothing's really happening.
Oh, imagine talking for 3 hours about the same lap.
And it's a starting lap.
Let's go. Hold on, Paco. Put your glasses on. Put your sunglasses on real quick. Let's get some NASCAR commentary from Paco. What track do you want to be at? Let's say we're at. Let's go to Talladega. Talladega is definitely the track that is probably the most hillbilly of the bunch. All right, Paco's getting ready. He's getting his commentator uniform. I would love to hear NASCAR commentating with drifting commentary. And here we go. We are special guests in the studio, guys. Sorry, Sam and Elvin couldn't make it, but we have Harry Baricello here. He's going to be our NASCAR commentator. All right, Harry, we're going to turn over to you. Tell us what you see on the track right now. We have a 600-lap race. What do we got?
So right now we can see the guy that had running 600 laps on tonight at Talladega. Welcome, Corey. Welcome. We have first we have the car number 68 in the color green, running over 130 mile per hour, 120 laps so far. Engine seems to be doing okay because it's followed by the blue car. The blue car is being driven by the what's his name, Corey?
Steve Winslow.
Steve Winslow. And after that, we have another car in color blue, sponsored by Ty that makes your clothes look. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Brian. So we have a line of cars, a lot of cars coming by the camera. We have another car coming on the bottom of the line, and we're led by the red car that is going at the same speed that all the other cars are happening. And let's get the cars back into the pits, Corey.
Harry Baricello, I appreciate you coming out and giving us.
All right, enough.
Giving us, you actually went pretty. Now, can you do that for another 2.5 hours?
Absolutely.
I would probably jump out the window.
Pay me.
I would eject out of my seat. I'd find an ejection button and send me right through your roof. I mean,
Jeez.
not your roof, the studio roof. Sorry.
I felt like I was like on an auction for a second.
I noticed a lot of your redneck similarities. They're almost all the same. Your accents. If you do like a redneck guy or
But
a
it's like
NASCAR
country music, you know, like all country songs sound the same. Ding, 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 ding. Anyways, so yeah, NASCAR's not buying Formula Drift.
It'd be awesome.
But
Could
if
be
it
awesome.
happens, I mean, I think it's not going to be a bad thing necessarily.
Yep.
But
But
before we go to further, real quick, so I wrote an article, and it was on Maximum Driftcast as well.
okay, nice.
What I
nice.
what I mentioned, maybe Brian can show some of it on TV on the TV. Sorry, I'm still in NASCAR mode. And one of the things is like I wanted to talk about cars that you can buy that are similar. Oh, there you go. That's why.
Every time I go to the website, that song kicks on. I'm not doing that.
You
on
could
purpose.
mute
Yeah,
the
just remember to
computer.
I just muted the tab
so-
already, but
You can mute the whole computer too.
Okay.
If you mute the whole computer, the whole
Oh,
thing goes down, Corey.
It doesn't quite work that way.
Anyways, I wanted to suggest people
Okay.
cars that are different, that are not a 240SX or they're not an E36, which are the most popular cars to start drifting, in my opinion,
Okay.
because they're cheap and
Right.
they're very good.
Right.
If anybody asks me for opinion, that's what I will tell you. Buy any of those two cars. But then people's like, oh, but I want something different. I want something that's not a 240, something that is a like your
Something
van.
unique or
unique and all that. And I'm like, well, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I will never give you like bad advice. Like I'm not gonna tell you, okay, go buy a tofu van, like a minivan or like something that's front wheel drive. And one of the things I wanted to mention on that article is, and because apparently a lot of you guys who read or actually a lot of guys who commented didn't read the article, and that was like all the argument going on.
Oh my God!
Is because people didn't even read.
That is the hold on, so because I got a couple messages off that post too
Yeah.
about the unique cars if you wanted to build a unique drift car, and you sent me a message and
Yeah.
I got a message and people were saying, "Oh, this car is not this or that car's not that price," and it's like, hold on, read the whole thing and I explain why I gave the price.
Just
Like,
read it first. Like, I mean, I think I got by firsthand the social media experience of people sharing something or hating something without even reading it. So I'm calling you out, people who commented without reading the article. I was looking for cars that you can get for about the same price of a 240 chassis with no engine or bad engine in shitty conditions,
Right.
or an E46. I mean, top $2,000,
Okay.
right?
Well, let's name some cars off your list real quick.
So, I mentioned the Mercedes C-Class, particularly the W204, which is kind of like the newest one that you can get for very little money. They are everywhere. They're super cheap.
right.
They're pretty much Mercedes' 3 Series, BMW's version of the 3 Series. They're super cheap. You can get them in hatchback, sedan, wagon.
Do you know the engine that comes in that?
Many. They from 4-cylinder supercharged to a V6 and even up to a V8. You also can find a Thunderbird, like the last generation of the Thunderbird, like the 90s Thunderbird or a Cougar. They're independent suspension. They are cheap as hell. They came with V6 supercharged, V6, V8. But now here's the thing where a lot of people didn't read as well. I was talking about just the chassis, because the idea is that even if 240 or a BMW, you end up getting rid of the engine and putting something else.
Right.
So I'm not talking about like cars that had good engines or like that they're not gonna break on you.
Right.
I'm just like thinking this is a chassis that could drift if you just put a good drivetrain.
right.
So I also I mentioned those cars, and some of my idea is that the car needs to be somehow similar in the setup to a 240. So same, like in rear independent suspension, no solid axles, power steering with a rack and pinion power steering, so no pitman arms. And that's one of the things the Cadillac Catera or the Opel Omega, which is widely used in Europe for drifting, actually has pitman arms. So I decided to allow cars with pitman arm suspension, steering.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, like if you go to MaximumDriftcast.com, you'll see the article is right there, and If you can switch real quick, Brian, and just scroll down so you can like you can see the put it what it was. Just that right there. Yeah, just put it switch back. There you go. So just scroll down so you can see the photo. So there you go. So there's a Mercedes. Keep coming. There's keep going. There's the Cadillac Catera or the Opel Omega rear-wheel drive car.
And so for you guys that are listening on the podcast right now, Paco is showing images of the cars that you could potentially purchase for cheap and go drifting. And
for less than $2,000.
Right.
And some of them even like up to $300 or $500, like ridiculously cheap. There's a Thunderbird or the Cougar. Keep going. See, like there's the Slidebird, the drift car that's actually been proven that it can drift.
Right.
Keep going. Jaguar S-types. Those cars, they're super, super cheap because mechanically they're like
garbage, right?
They're bad. Yeah, like those engines and transmissions are bad. But just get rid of that and put an SR20 or put a V8. Like imagine like rolling in these things with some nice wheels, a big ass wing, and
see. But this is where I think your car style uniqueness comes in because. I just hate that Jaguar.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
but here's the thing, like, because a lot of people were criticizing me, like, oh, you have a terrible taste in cars. Like, tell me which other cars fit that criteria, and I'll include them.
Right.
And something you can get for less than $2,000, that it's not solid axle, that it's all rear-wheel drive, like no conversions.
Right.
And go for it. Like for example, like somebody suggested Lincoln LS.
Right.
Like yes, perfect. Lincoln LS is another car that you can find for very cheap. For like I didn't put on the for example, like those wagons and
the Dodge
Magnum.
Charger Magnum wagons.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
And
is
the 300s
because you listed the price are like $1,500, and I was like, dude, you can't get a Charger. Dude, I go on Craigslist and they're anywhere from $750 to like $3,500.
Yeah, depending on the trim or depending on the mileage, and especially if they're broken. They go for it. Ridiculous. The people just like get this shit out of my driveway.
You'd be the Spanish version of Samuel Bubinet.
Samuel Bubinet.
Yeah, that's Paco Bubinet.
See, exactly. I mean, like that's a car it's been trial. Like that guy in Europe is drifting that 300 with a Viper 10-cylinder engine.
Yeah,
it's a huge car. Yeah, but it's proven that it can drift. That there's
Bubinet.
Some Bubinet.
Bubinets.
The
There's
LS400.
Big Balls LS400, obviously.
If put it to the test, and if you scroll down a little bit, look at him. He's like, keep going.
That's a beautiful.
That's and there's like contact, like just
sale.
fucking. Well, not yet, but look, he's going. He's riding the wall like a boss.
All right.
Corvettes.
C4 Corvette.
A lot of people said that they're terrible drift cars.
Okay.
I've seen many videos of people doing pretty decent figure eights and all that on those cars. Those cars. They already have a V8. It's not the best V8, but they have one of the things that they have a lot of clearance on the front tires.
Right.
So a little bit of tinkering and engineering, which I mean probably costs a lot less than buying a Wisefab kit. You can make that car tons of angle.
What I would do is if I bought a Corvette is I would go on any Corvette Facebook group and ask all the technicians in the Facebook group of how I can get more steering angle out of my C4.
And they're probably going to be like, wow, you boy crazy.
Hey, man, put a gold chain on, put some fingerless gloves on, man, and go burn that thing down.
Yeah, just get a Trip 50, a small block with an RV cam, automatic 500 horses.
You might as well just put your Havoline jacket back on.
Yeah, but look at switch back real quick, Brian. So, yeah, keep scrolling. So you can also turn Corvettes into death carts. Like
that is cool.
The same way that you do with Miatas, you can do that with a Corvette. And you have a V8 platform.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The Max, Factory 5 uses a lot of Corvette parts too, and they have front engine rear-wheel drive kit cars. There you go. Just wanted to come up with something super unique to drift as well.
Yeah.
I know it's out of the price range of what you're talking about, but I just made me think of it with looking at this.
You can drift anything that is rear-wheel drive. If you think it's just like like the idea was going with super cheap, accessible cars everywhere, and. I mean, if you keep scrolling, any Subaru that is all-wheel drive, they have a transmission tunnel. And that's the other thing. I was like, a lot of people were suggesting like 3000 GT, Mitsubishi Eclipse. So those cars don't really have a transmission tunnel because they're front-wheel drive based.
All right, so tell me this, and we'll kind of wrap up on this topic. So people are asking in the Facebook group, suspension is important, and sometimes you can't get something that has zero aftermarket for suspension components.
Absolutely.
So what would be your response?
My response to that. So here's the thing. Every car started with zero aftermarket until people started using them and creating that necessity. So, number one, a lot of these aftermarket companies started from people making parts themselves, and then people started like, hey, can you sell me one of those kits that you're making? So there's just an opportunity for somebody who's good at coming up with their own parts. There you go. Start making some stuff for a Thunderbird, for a Cougar, and then like more people will start drifting them, and then you will pretty much own that entire
That's
business.
like the same concept that you have with 2F, right? You're not going to make a kit unless you have a want for it.
Exactly. And like people ask me for kits for cars that don't even exist here in the States.
Right.
So the more people ask me for it, the more I'm like, okay, maybe I should come up with that kit for that car.
Right. And that's based on the demand that you get for people
Exactly.
saying, because you don't make LFCs for the what chassis? The coupe?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
It's coming out.
But the thing is the reason you are going to is because you've been
So many
bombarded with people.
keeps
So it makes
asking
sense.
me exactly.
So if 1,000 kids go buy Cougars to go drift tomorrow, maybe hit up somebody goes, hey,
yeah,
build me a 2F Cougar kit.
let's do this. I'm
Even
down.
if there's one kid, just because you like the crazy car so much, you'd probably do it just
Well,
because.
I know Brian wants to drift one of those Thunderbirds.
Yeah, my dad had one of the like a '92 Thunderbird, and I snuck that car out when my parents were out of town so many times. I hooned the shit out of that car, and it was so I loved it, and I would love to get one again just to go
Did they make
drifting
anything
with.
in a manual?
They came in.
Emanuele?
They
They
came
made
in.
some in
Supercharged. They had a
Emanuele?
V6 supercharged with manual. I don't know if any of the V8s, but it's the same V8 as the Mustang.
Yeah,
and
it's a super
yeah, it's-
straightforward swap if you want to put a
independent rear
V8.
suspension, just like the 240. I mean, it's just like a really big 240. I guess
It's
is the
actually
best
like
way
an
to describe it.
SC400 or an
Oh,
SC300.
okay, yeah, like that. But it's a front engine rear wheel drive platform that doesn't have a live axle from Ford. The same year they were putting out live axle Mustangs.
Oh.
It was kind of like ahead of its time in terms of like for Ford's
Handling.
development.
Oh
yeah.
handling it was way much better. It's like a Cobra, like a Mustang Cobra with an independent suspension.
Yeah, my dad scared the shit out of me of that car many times.
Yeah, like he was. I don't want to know that story. What was he doing?
Another
kidding.
time.
Yeah.
But anyways,
No, that's definitely a cool article, and that's kind
Yeah.
of what you were showcasing is that there's tons of options
Yeah.
out there if you wanted to try
It's-
to get in
it's-
sliding a car for a reasonable
it's
cost.
not cars that I liked. It's just cars that are available. Obviously, they're probably not popular because they're not pretty. But
Right.
if you want something different, go and experiment.
Right.
Like people who drift Volvo wagons.
Right.
They look amazing.
Dude, you go to
And
Got Bill and you
Yeah.
see just the uniqueness of cars out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
And a
definitely
lot of those
inspiration.
cars are actually available here. And like for example, like some of that Cadillac Catera, very overlooked. They were mechanically terrible cars,
Right.
so that's why you find them super cheap.
I personally think that the third gen Camaro should be mentioned in that list. Even though it's not in the list, I always love the way the third gen Camaro looks. And I think that car would look really awesome sideways as well.
Yeah, and I like them a lot. The only thing I didn't mention those is because of the live axle. But I mean, if you can overlook the live axle,
Right.
sure, go for a bitchin' Camaro.
Right.
A little more work, but I think it would be cool if somebody
Yep.
could pull it off.
Yeah, no, that's some cool stuff. I was definitely looking at them once you brought all that stuff up. The other thing too, going back to a lot of the drifting news and things like that, is like we started off the show talking about vlogs and giveaways and things like that, and even watching the chat, it seems like a lot of these guys now and drivers are resorting back to kind of creating their own content, creating their own media, if it's through vlogs or through their social platform.
Yep.
And then also you have guys doing giveaways, and people would actually build a car and raffle it off, or you buy, a couple pieces of merchandise, and that gives you one entry to winning X car. And even the Haggard Garage guys are doing this right now, where it's you spend $20, and
What was that sound?
Oh.
Sam is not here. Who's
nope.
Hello?
hello?
Hello.
It was funny actually that you just chimed in like that, because we were just talking about giving cars away for a couple bucks.
Oh, yeah, dude. It works.
So I was actually going in because I was just reading through our Facebook chat and YouTube chat, and people were saying, "Do you see what Haggard Garage is doing, giving away?" And then I guess Denofa is giving away or raffling something off. And you've actually had experience a while back,
I'm going to be honest. I pioneered the YouTuber giveaway thing.
dude. And it's crazy because you look at drifting now versus drifting 2-3 years ago, and professional drifting is now, it seems like personal content creation has become like a need now in professional drifting.
So who are we talking
It
to?
totally is. Oh, yeah. My name's Caleb Quanbeck.
Hi,
There
Caleb.
you go.
Hey, Caleb. I thought I was still
Hey,
talking to
guys.
Paco and Sam. I
I
didn't
think
see you
this
there.
is the kind of guy who needs no introduction.
I can give I can give introduction here. Let me see him real quick. So Caleb used to be a bodybuilder in '67, right? The same year the Cougar came out.
Same year as my Chevelle, actually.
Yeah. So Caleb drives a '67 Cougar Foxback, and after you pioneered the development of wide body kits for those particular cars, you ended up breaking down on the side of the road, right, in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
right.
Dayton, actually, Dayton.
In Dayton, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened was when the car broke down, you just figured you didn't have a couple bucks to throw in it, so you bought a bike.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bike.
You bought a baby bike, and you started becoming really good on that baby bike.
Yeah.
And then
fast forward 35 years.
35 years, and now you're a BMX dude.
I wanted to know how many cylinders that baby bike had.
Baby back ribs? Paco. Yeah. Come on, dude. I know you're thinking about Chili's, but
no, it was like
Chili's.
Baby back bike.
Is it a leg powered bike?
No, but going back to, you pioneered this giveaway thing. You've obviously have had quite a bit of success on YouTube. What was kind of the story of you getting into either motorsports or professional sports and now being a YouTuber? Kind of what's your story on this?
How much time you got?
Well, give us a quick 3-minute banger on it.
Oh, 3 minutes, man. I don't know if I can do that, but I'll try. So, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and I've always been into BMX. And by the time I turned about 15 or 16, I got sponsored. I got to travel a little bit. I wasn't getting paid or anything, just free bikes. And at that same time, a good friend of mine, this kid Marcus, he got a 240 and started drifting around on the street, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I always kind of figured like I couldn't afford to do that, and it was also like cars were kind of taking my BMX friends away from me. They would be at the skate park one day, and then the next day they got a car and they're done with it. So I didn't want to get into it, and I just kind of kept riding. And fast forward a couple more years, I started getting paid, and I made a name for myself in BMX. Been a professional BMX rider for like almost 10 years now. And
what type of events did you compete in on BMX?
I didn't compete at all.
Oh, you didn't do any?
Well, I've competed a few times. I've done some of the like do tour contests, and then some other street contests.
Yep.
But and this is like something that I think is kind of I'm starting to see in drifting is like in BMX, no one's paying you to be the best competitor at an X Games event. They're paying you because of you. You know what I mean? They see something unique in you as an individual and as a rider or a driver in drifting in the drifting situation, and that is what they're paying for. You know what I mean? They're not paying for you to go out there and get first place in X Games. If you do, it's cool and you'll be rewarded probably, but it's not really a thing. You don't have to compete. But back to the when I was 18, I bought a 240. I'd never drove on a track. I would like kick the clutch around corners or do little burnouts and donuts and stuff. And then I moved to LA when I was 20. So from 20 to 24, I rode BMX, had a 240. And one day I kind of just was like, all right, I'll never be able to do this car stuff on my own. Like I just don't make enough money riding BMX. And I was like, I don't have a lot of other skills, but what I do know how to do is social media.
Right.
And I handled some of the marketing for some of my BMX sponsors. And I know what it's like to be a company and get hit up by a million kids wanting free stuff or wanting a paycheck. And I know what they do wrong. And I know what a brand wants. And what the rider or the driver needs to deliver to make that brand happy. So I was like, all right, I'll start a YouTube channel. I'll start taking this car stuff a little more serious and get it looking nice and get more involved in the scene. So my first track day ever, the first time I've ever driven on a track was Turk Bash 2016. And probably nobody knows this.
And that was at Park in Portland?
That was at Park.
Nice.
So it's my first actual track day ever. And I knew how to drive, but like it's still like being on a racetrack is different.
Right.
And so I'm like out there and it's like myself, the villains drivers, and then all FD pros. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? But as soon as I got out on track, it was all good. I had a blast. And thank you, Ryan, for letting me drive.
That was it was a very cool yellow car. I remember seeing how you spun and the battery went flying over and the no, that wasn't you, right?
Yeah, that wasn't.
That's my old S14.
What?
Shout out Jake Rio. We love you.
What What was the engine? Was it the 1JZ 240 or what was it?
So it's the 1J coupe that I had built, and in a couple of weeks, this is all going to be pretty crazy that we talked about this because I got some news to share. But so I had a 1J coupe that was the engine and stuff was built by Josh Novak, this kid in California, and he did a really good job. And I just updated the whole car and made it more of my style and fixed some things that were broken. And that's the car that I gave away. And so I made, I made a YouTube channel, and at that time, 2016, it had I think 12,000 subscribers, and I was looking to build a new car, and I didn't have any support from brands. I made enough money to pay bills, and I was like, you know what? How many kids out there are in this exact same situation I'm in? And if I give them a chance to win the car for a small fee of, let's say, $50, just throw out that $50, and maybe you win a car that you would have to spend $10,000 on if you went and bought it off Craigslist.
Yeah, it was a good-looking car, actually.
Yeah, and then it also gives me the opportunity to use that money to fund the new build, or at least partial fund the new build.
Interesting. And you kind of had that as like a whole ploy to help build your brand, your channel, your network. That was kind of the whole idea behind it. Yeah,
definitely. And then I had a little bit of support back then, the Hoonigan guys. They helped me promote it, and they had my back on it. And at the time, because nobody else was doing these giveaways, nobody believed it. Everybody thought it was just a facade, and it was just I wasn't gonna give away the car, and they were all gonna get ripped off. But as soon as I gave away the car, and it went smoothly, and the winner lived in Chicago, he got the car, and then now a kid in Georgia owns the car. The kid in Chicago sold it, but once people saw that it was legit, then these other YouTubers and drivers and whoever else, they decided to do it, and it's just way more, I don't know, trustworthy now. Now that the one person did it.
Somebody tested it and saw that it actually can work out.
Exactly.
Dude, no, that's crazy, because I remember seeing that at the time. I didn't know your involvement in the sport, and it was kind of, once again, you have this BMX dude coming in selling cars for $50, and you're like, this does seem a little sketch a little bit.
It does, dude. Yeah.
But no, it kind of does make sense. But now you're starting now to see it finally become like this trend, or now people are like, now I can just sell that as part of my program. As I create a YouTube channel, I build a car, I go drift it, then I go give it away for a couple bucks. And now we just built media, and it just, from 2016 till now, did you expect it to get as much traction as it has, or what?
It's honestly, it's such a different industry than what I was used to in BMX. The professionalism in motorsports is a lot better, and I can appreciate that.
Well, do you know what also is right there is, I think drifting has changed. The whole media portion of drifting has changed so much in the past 2 years. Ever since kind of that has happened, the whole style of what drivers are doing to self-promote has changed dramatically. Like, even going back to myself in 2013, 2014, I thought me and Sam were kind of like, let's do this and do it for fun. And it's like, at that time, we had people like, dude, this is way ahead of the time. Like, this is super cool. You're actually making funny content rather than doing recap videos. Like,
I was watching it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it was like one of those things that I definitely felt was like, man, it's really changing. Now you start seeing more of a movement, but that's definitely created a movement within the industry.
Yeah, and you still have the brands and the fans and spectators that might not like the vlog style videos. You know what I mean? And it's hard for a lot of people to sit down and spend 15 minutes listening to somebody talk and stare at a camera. But the way I've always looked at it is, if you are between 16 years old and 25 years old, and you don't have the means to build a car, go to the track, create content, do all these things, what's the next best thing? To watch somebody that you can relate to do those things. And almost live vicariously through the content. And it's so much more personable to the products that you're representing for the brands, and for the fans to be able to almost interact, and then meet you at say you're creating your content on your own YouTube channel, and then you go to first round of Pro 2. Those people that have been watching you struggle with this new build, this 2J build, and it's been so hard, but you finished it and it runs, it didn't blow up on the dyno, and then they get to see it in real life and they get to ask you questions about it. That means so much to these guys. And I think that people overlook that, and how big of of a role it may play in somebody's life and inspiring them to maybe pursue what you do.
Well, yeah, and that's also another good point too, because you look at YouTube nowadays, or even Google. It's like, back in the day, years ago, it's like how to work on a Ford Pinto for Dummies or a Ford Pro for Dummies. That was the only way to get any type of resource.
Yeah, Paco made that video.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And now it's like with just content creation.
I'm good with that.
Like today, it's like we used YouTube today for an example. We looked up how to set up some sort of web service that we're using, right? And we Googled that, and it's like we're using YouTube so much now that it seems like that's the platform to get any information or to understand kind of the struggles of what it would take to be involved in either that particular industry or using that particular software or tool. It's being so much more of a resource, more than just making video content of, creating a scripted story. It's more of like, hey, you can learn things from there, or you can share experiences from there.
Oh man, that's something. There's so many vloggers now, right?
Right.
And I still don't think that it's oversaturated. I don't think that it's like saying that there's so many people on Instagram, it's oversaturated. You can't be on it. There's too many people on it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how YouTube is going to be. Now, people are going to find unique ways to create content that make them stand out and grow a little bit faster than some of the other guys. But having your own YouTube channel, like look at Forsberg. He's had a YouTube channel for years. And I remember him and Turk, I used to go to both their YouTube channels consistently to see if they had uploaded, and they never uploaded. They got involved with Hoonigan, or they got involved with Donut Media, and now it's trickling back to them creating their own content.
Right.
And it's not about the money. It's not about like creating content with your friends is cool. And if you get to the point where you're making a little bit of money that can help out your program and your life in general, it's more rewarding than any job you could ever do. Do you know what I mean? Like to make videos, it's sweet. And I love the fact that you're seeing like FD dudes come into this, because they were the ones that kind of frowned on it. I'm not going to name names, but some drivers kind of frowned on this whole vlogging thing.
Oh, for sure.
And the problem is the sponsors love it.
Right.
Brands love it. And I think that there's so many vloggers that create content that's almost scripted and not organic. It's very, I don't know how you explain it, but it's not real. Like you can watch it, get to know this person through their videos, then meet them, and it's a completely different person. That's such a bummer for the fans.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so people bring up sometimes like, oh, you shouldn't cuss in your videos and stuff. Well, here's the thing, like that's me.
Right.
And this is a reality TV show. This is real.
Right.
Take it or leave it. You might not like me. It's okay. There's 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 other vloggers that you can go watch. But this is how I do my content, and the people that do appreciate it and are a part of it, #QuanGang, are there forever, and I love them.
So you created what? You had 12,000 subscribers after your car giveaway. Where are you at now currently?
I don't know. I think right around 90,000.
About 90,000. So it took you about a year to almost hit 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, he bought all these subscribers. It's not.
Yeah, he went to some farming company.
Farming from Thailand or something like that.
So he sold the car. The money from the car went to buying subscribers.
Well, actually,
where's my team full hat?
I even pay for my hate comments, dude.
There you go.
If you want your shit to look real, you got to go buy hate comments.
Those are the most expensive ones.
They are. I know.
I would love
Haggard Garage buys a lot of them.
Yeah, do you know what I want to do is when we get near closing up, I want to go through some most memorable comments you ever had. But with this whole trend of people kind of getting into creating their own content, and you actually use Forsberg, for example. You say Forsberg and Turk, they teamed up, like you said, they teamed up with the Hoonigans, and then they teamed up with Donut Media. Now they're with another media company, but now they're going back to creating their own content, right?
Yeah, Forsberg started last week, started his own vlog.
But let's use him for an example, right? He's creating it because now it's been tested and proven that there's value in doing this.
And I mean, it's funny because he started his vlog, and just a few days later, like a lot of media outlets are talking about it, which immediately gave him a big boost. Which it's part of the same. It's kind of like backing up your own popularity by putting more content, and your popularity will help you push that content out as well. So it definitely, I mean, a lot of people's like, he just starts a content, he immediately gets 10,000 views. Well, I mean, he's been working on it on a while, but what's the average amount of views you get on each of your videos?
Me?
Yep.
So with YouTube, it's all about consistency. If you're not consistent, people will go elsewhere and find something else to watch.
Yep.
But I think right around 30K is average, between 25 and 30K, and then you every once in a while you'll get a good one, where just for some reason the algorithm on YouTube promotes it. They put it in the recommended boxes. It's everywhere. People are watching it. It gets a few 100,000.
Right.
And so, I mean, think about it like this, right? So you got 365 days out of the year. If I upload 200 videos a year at 30,000 views a piece, I'm bad at math, so
It's like
hold
6
on.
million. I'm guessing around 6 million.
Around 6 million?
That's what I'm guessing.
So that's at a minimum of 30,000 views. And then all those ones that you get viral that are like 200,000, 300,000, you get like 20, 30 of those a year. You end up at like 20 million views a year. That's a lot of views. And not that like the views specifically matter, but when you're talking about trying to build a race program and these guys are trying to figure out why they can't get any support, and all they're using is FD's analytics to build their deck, and they're like, well, here, Formula Drift gets 5,000 live viewers per event. Well, the company's like, okay, well, what are you doing for us? And this is a tool. There's so many free tools out there that people don't take advantage of, and it's a shame, But back to Forsberg though. With Forsberg creating his own content, I think that I don't know this because I don't talk to Forsberg. I don't know him, but the way I would look at it is, okay, Forsberg can create all this really high dollar production content with race services or whatever it's called, Donut Media. He can work with those companies, but they're not filming every day.
Right.
So when you've got 3 weeks or a month in between every shoot, it's time consuming, but why not pop out a few GoPro videos on your own channel to keep the fans happy, keep your supporters happy, and give a different kind of like almost represent yourself differently. You know what I mean?
Right.
When it's organic and it's kind of filmed on a shitty camera and it's not edited very well.
Super raw.
People relate to that.
Right.
People relate to a $200,000 camera crew.
I think that's a very important thing. Like when people sees you doing your own thing without like crazy editing, without like like the acting like, oh, welcome everybody, now we're doing this, like it's just you. And
I saw those Vaughn hands.
Yeah, he started going to Vaughn.
Well, that was I missed the Vaughn. Vaughn was like,
my name's Vaughn.
Vaughn Gator Jr. here. We're live. We're from Mesa, Arizona. We're about to throw some donuts. We're pumped. We're stoked.
And pumped and stoked.
I kind of lost my Vaughn for. I think
you got to warm up before
I haven't
Long
done
Beach.
it in a while.
You definitely got to warm up for Long Beach.
I'm sorry, Vaughn.
I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
But I'll tell you something that's interesting is like we've talked about vlogging, and you actually helped me start learning kind of the whole vlogging thing. The thing about me and vlogging or doing some sort of self-documenting is me personally, I like looking back on it. I like looking back and seeing the progress. And yeah, it's cool to share with the fans, but it's also cool personally to look back and be like, dude, I remember that. I remember when me and Dustin went to Vegas and got kicked out. Or I remember when me and so-and-so did. And for some reason, every now and then, it's funny when I'll be on YouTube, I'll see one of my videos and Sam's videos pop up from like 3 years ago.
Yep.
And like, I'll watch clips again, I'd laugh because it reminds me of what we did that day.
Yep.
Like even when we did the Matt Powers thing where we
Drift
did,
Busters?
Yeah, Drift Busters. It's like, dude, that took like 12 hours to shoot, but it's everything that was not recorded that was kind of fun behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And so by doing that, and after talking to you a little bit, I was like, dude, do you know what? It's kind of fun to do this because I know from a year from now it's going to pop up randomly. I'm going to see it, and I'm going to watch it and I'll laugh about it. And you know what? It's like...
And what's cool is that people can see your progress that you have been done at the same time. For example, like in case of Caleb's, you're the only one who's mostly working on your car, right?
Yeah, I don't fabricate or do any tuning, but over the past year building the S14, I had a lot of help. Don't want to confuse anybody to think that I built my car myself, but I learned a lot. And over that year of even watching the other guys work on my car, now I've been able to do a lot more in this off season.
Nice.
And document it.
And that's the thing, like people can relate on this work because they see you doing the work. Then, like if you show up at an event, everybody goes and sees the actual work that you've done. And
Yeah.
they can feel even more connected because they know what you're talking about. They know what you're showing them. You know,
Yep.
yeah.
Sometimes the work's shitty. Sometimes it's quality.
But see, like, but that's the point, you know. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a TV show where everything's perfect, you know. And the end of every show, you know, it's always like the happy ending, you know, like Overhauling, you know. They do this fantasy build in 1 week, everything's perfect. At the end of a show, everybody's super happy. There's tears, you know. Like in vlogging, there's no such thing. You know,
No.
it's like, you know, today we failed. Today, you know, sucked. It rained. We couldn't do shit. You know, my engine blew up. You know, and I'm just gonna stop right now because I'm getting pissed. But I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and I really try and show that, and through my videos and my content. You know, if I'm having a bad day, I'm not gonna try and hide anything. That's part of life.
Yeah.
And today I'm filming whatever I'm doing, and I'm in a bad mood, and I usually explain why or what's going on. You know, fuck, you know, these parts didn't show up, something didn't go right. That's part of the game. And if I was to hide that from these viewers, and then they got it, I inspired them to start building a car, and they're like, God, Caleb makes it look so fun all the time. You know,
Yeah.
and I didn't show any of the bad stuff. I would be giving them false information.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. You just showed them like this is all fine and dandy every day.
Fake news.
And a prime example was that I'm going to bring up this story, and I don't care if you get mad at it or if you want to fight me because I'll fight you right now.
And I will say,
I will
you
fight you.
better start recording because we're about to get uncomfortable. So show everybody.
Hey, so do you remember when you called me and you were talking about the car not running right? I was at America with Keith, and you're like, dude, like the car just the whole tuning thing is all weird. Like, you know what I mean? It's like to share like. So, Kate, you want me to tell the story real quick?
Dude,
Okay,
feel
I'll
free, go
tell
ahead.
real quick. So, me and Caleb started talking. We were hanging out, and I was at American Motorsports, where my car was at, and he was talking about how his car was running and things like that. So we're like, well, you know, let us take a look at the logs. And when we got the logs, because he was running a Holley Dominator ECU, so he sent us the file, and Keith America was tuning on my car at the same time. Well, when we got Caleb's logs, we pulled it up on the Holley engine management software. You were running like your AFR was at like 32.
No, the AFR was good. It was the timing. It was
The
APS.
timing was at like 32 or 40, wasn't it? It was like
It was at 40 degrees of timing on my LS with pump gas.
so the tuner had an issue wrong, or he had a sensor wrong installed on the engine, so it was reading everything all jacked up. So you're running around a racetrack with 40 degrees in timing on pump gas, running
she
like
was
93 octane. But that's the thing is when you shared that story, it's like, dude, it was so easy. Caleb put a LS in his car, fully built, and then you went and got a tune, and now it runs great. It's like, we almost exploded that thing the first couple laps out, calling overheating.
Oh, so much money almost gone, dude. It was dangerous. And if I wouldn't have called you and we wouldn't have had that conversation,
Oh,
it
no.
could have been gone.
No, it was you could have drove another time, and it was perfect because you kind of gave us like the symptoms of what's happening, and we were able to diagnose it as a group. But the whole thing is as you said, it's not always like sunshine and rainbows and like unicorns dancing around. It's like, dude, there's days there, and once again, I wish I was vlogging at the time my car blew up. Like, I wish I was documenting the boss the whole time. And that, once again, we had this conversation, is I wish we were documenting my build half the time, because people would be able to see like the headaches that I've went through. And it wasn't always like, sweet, I got this sweet, cool boss. It's like, dude, going to SEMA and building at SEMA, and it wasn't even running to SEMA, and what I had to do to try to get as ready as I can, and then bring it back, and then the turbo manifolds don't fit, and I have to remake the whole manifold. And then I could give information why our manifolds didn't fit and how we had to build them the second time. Like, sharing that information is super important, and people are going to be digging for it. And I wish I had that resources 2-3 years ago when I first started getting this, because it would have
Well,
been
you did. You just didn't utilize them.
and that's the thing, is I just wasn't aware of it. You know, you don't know what to go after if you're not aware of it until you find out. Now I know, but dude, it was one of those things that I wish if I knew about it, it would have been a lot easier. And I think like at this point now, everybody's finding out about it.
And they are, definitely. And I try and okay, well, back to the part where you said, to look back on it. That's such a important part. If you've got 500 videos that documented your late 20s or early 20s or early 30s of racing, and then 10 years down the road, you want to look back on your career, you have like step-by-step documentation to show whoever, your kids, grandkids, it's there. And I think that's so cool. As long as YouTube doesn't crash, knock on wood. It's super sweet to be able to go back and look at those things. And I even look back at the videos from a year ago when I first started. When I started YouTube, I used an iPhone. I filmed on an iPhone, edited on an iPhone, and uploaded on an iPhone. I had no equipment, and I did that until like 20,000 subscribers.
And then you finally bought a $300 camera.
Oh, when you get 20,000 subscribers, that's it. You're
Money,
making millions.
I'm quitting everything.
Fuck everybody.
Yep.
You flip your
No,
you
I
flip
gave
your
away a
boss.
car.
What's that?
I gave away a car.
Oh, that's right. I had 20 grand. So I don't even need it. I'm just giving it away. I don't need it. I don't need it.
It's like that. It's like that meme.
I bought a laptop and stuff, and
Better camera.
That helped. Yeah, but okay, so with these people discovering YouTube and things and utilizing it as probably the most important platform you have with social media.
Right.
People like Rad Dan. Rad Dan hit me up probably 2 months ago, maybe less, and he had like 3,000 subscribers. And he's busy. He runs a shop. He works on his own car, and his wife Renee helps him edit and upload his content. She makes the thumbnails and stuff.
Yep.
And he was like, "Hey man, it's not really gaining a lot of traction. Like we're just bullshitting. We're homies, And I was like, "Here, man, try these things." So he tried a couple things, and he's like, "Hey, it's kind of working. I'm seeing a little bit more traction." I'm like, "Great. I'm coming out to California after Desert Mayhem, and let's hang out. We'll do a video together. We'll kick it, and we'll see if that maybe helps you out a little bit." Well, the power of collaborations with people is crazy, and it really works. Sometimes better than others. But I went to Dan's shop, myself, Haggard Garage, and more skids, and we just hung out for the day, and we documented it. That's all we did. We drove cars up and down the street. We talked about cars, documented it, put it online. I think Haggard Garage's video did 100,000 views, and he got up to like 10,000 subs in like 3 days.
Right.
And that's not like it's the people that have trickled over from our channels are car enthusiasts. So it's not like if you went and hung out with Roman Atwood, right, and he shouted out your channel, your channel would grow huge.
Oh, yeah.
You'd get hundreds of thousands of subs, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know who Roman Atwood is.
Okay, well, he's a famous YouTuber, but no one would care about your content. Nobody would care about what you're doing because they're just went there because this guy told them to.
Yeah.
But the difference is when you're collaborating with people that are involved in the same industry as you or same sport, you can share it and introduce these fans to new people that they might take a liking to, and help the growth of your friend's channel or whatever, and use it as a tool for whatever, for sponsors, for race programs, for you want to try and make some money long term. It's there for a lot of things.
It's more organic. I mean, it makes sense. If you guys are buddies, you wanna it's very easy to make a video together. Right. Like a simple collaboration. It's not like, well, we have a fee where it's like $10,000 per collaboration video. We pretend we're super best friends. That immediately it's gonna start bad. It's gonna look bad. It's gonna look very cringy. And
people do that.
Yeah, and people do that. I'm saying because I know like a lot of people gets like oh, go check out my friend's channel. He's great. Blah blah blah. It's like, come on. Like, I know the way you think. I know you wouldn't like really recommend that guy, but it is for them that for I think for the YouTuber it kind of like makes sense. But
yeah, and the other thing is I think that a lot of people are starting to find out how much a lot of these bigger YouTubers make.
Yep. From
YouTube. And they get this like crazy hair up their ass. We're like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
And they just think that if they start a YouTube channel, they're going to make, all this money. And the money is outrageous. The amount of money that a lot of these YouTubers make is insane. And people don't even believe it.
So roughly give us some numbers. What are these bigger automotive YouTube members potentially making?
I don't want to air anybody out specifically.
No, you don't have to give me names, but like roughly, what would a big YouTuber make?
Anywhere from a couple $1,000s a month to upwards of $100,000 a month.
Off of YouTube revenue or YouTube?
Just off of YouTube ad revenue.
Oh, yeah.
Easily, like a decent sized channel is doing about $20K a month. And that's not totally crazy to be able to achieve that.
And what would be a decent sized channel? Like what size channel would that have to be to make something like that?
Like ratio of subscribers to number of videos.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like a lot of the YouTubers have. I wish Orion was on this with me. He would talk.
Where's
about
Orion at?
Orion, come here.
So tell us who Orion is real quick.
Orion is my roommate, and he also is one of the dudes from Haggard Garage. They're doing a giveaway. You talked about that earlier. They're doing a sick giveaway. We'll talk about it later. Orion, I'm taking the headphones out for 1 second.
Give him one earbud.
Oh, okay, you're taking your earbud.
I'm taking it.
You guys should kiss.
So we're talking about.
Go ahead
sit
in his lap.
Hi, Orion. What's happening, dude?
What's up, bro?
Okay, so we're talking about they want to know everybody wants to know about YouTube money.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's insane. Yeah.
So, subscriber to view ratio money.
What do you mean?
So okay, if you've got a channel that has 1 million subs, which is pretty crazy, but it's doable,
Right.
and you're doing what? How many views do you think? 300K a day?
300, 400K a day. Yeah.
How much money?
50 grand maybe.
50 grand. Yeah.
A day or a month?
Okay.
No, a month.
Oh, a month. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dude, you're making thousands a day though.
Yeah, but still
you're making
thousands.
like 2-3 grand a day.
So if you have a YouTube channel, 1 million subscribers, and you're doing 300K a day, how many videos a month would that be? Do you do daily or would you do it?
Daily.
Most of the
probably.
bigger YouTubers that have enough money to and once you have the money to go do content, that's the problem. A lot of these guys, if you don't have the money to go out and create content, it can't create.
Yeah.
There's days where I can't go out and do anything because I'm broke. And I'm like, fuck, I don't have gas to go film anything.
But it's like every business. The more money you're making, the more demand of product you have. So you need to start hiring people who's gonna do your editing because there's a point where you don't have time to do the editing. You have to, let somebody else do it, and then you're gonna have somebody doing your social media, and then or at least helping you with that. Somebody handling the camera, and it just it starts growing and growing and growing. It's like it's exponential. It's just like a business.
Hey, so real quick, can you grab Orion one more time and
Orion, come back.
have him tell us about his giveaway, for example, because obviously he's
wait,
doing this. Have him tell us about his giveaway and how it works, just real quick.
No, dude, it's all good.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Orion.
What's up? Welcome again.
Yeah, welcome back. Hey, Caleb, it looks like you've grown some hair and you got a good tan.
The tats are gone.
Hey, so we were actually just talking about giveaway, and actually you're a perfect person to talk to because you run the Haggard Garage channel and you run your personal channel. Yes. And we were just talking about giveaways. What giveaway are you doing currently? What's the story behind it, just real quick? But what are you doing?
We're doing this thing called the Drift Starter Pack giveaway. Basically, we're giving away our van, a new enclosed trailer, and my Genesis, which it's pretty solid. I mean, it's kind of like a beginner-ish car, but it's still a little bit more developed than most grassroots cars.
Yep.
So I tried to design because basically a bunch of YouTubers, especially where I'm from, have basically just been kind of oversaturating giveaways. They're just buying shitty cars now,
right?
And just basically just throwing a bunch of eBay stuff on it and then giving it away for profit, but. And they're doing it too often.
Exactly right.
Another problem. Yeah, you want to stick with maybe one big one, maybe once every other year. You can't really oversaturate yourself. So I kind of wanted to be that big one, big end all giveaway. We gave away so much cool shit at once that anyone that gives away a shitty car now just looks like an idiot. So that's kind of why I did it. I mean, I don't have a inspirational, touching story like Caleb.
No, but it's still, once again, the kind of idea is now we're seeing these pro drivers start doing giveaways. They're doing vlogs now because there's this crazy value that is finally popping up after guys like you. How long have you been running your channel for?
Somewhere around 4 years now, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 5.
And how many subs are you at?
560,000.
And
Jesus.
Yeah, 560,000 subs. And what was kind of the whole idea of why you started it?
Basically, I started out just. I had no money when I started out, so everything I had to do was kind of in my mom's driveway type situation. So I was extremely limited to parts. A lot of our viral videos are us basically putting on eBay parts. We got a 1 million view eBay hydro e-brake video. We were just trying to be cheap. We had no choice. So, and that's how the channel really started, just by having no money, basically. The things we had to do to get by is what people wanted to watch.
Well, and that's kind of going back to what we were originally talking about with Caleb is that's content that is relatable to a lot of the people that are tuning in to YouTube. It's like,
Yeah.
I only have a few bucks in my pocket, dude, and how would I build this for cheap? Or how can I get around this mod? And a lot of people, I'm even guilty of doing that myself, because there's times where I'm just like, man, I got this old beat up missile car and just need to get a few parts. Or is there an easier way to do it? And then I literally Google it, and Orion's videos would pop up, and like, well, I'm an idiot. I can watch Orion figure it out. But no, it's just interesting that the trends that we're seeing nowadays of how it's kind of finally coming back, where guys are realizing that there's a lot more behind this than just some kids grabbing YouTube camera, how to make a cheap content or whatever.
Yeah, if I only knew, I think right now I'm just gonna make an announcement. I'm giving a giveaway.
Oh, Paco's got a giveaway.
Yeah, these NASCAR glasses are going.
We got truck stop glasses.
Yeah, they're going. They still
You
have
buy-
the tag.
You buy a sticker for $20 a piece.
Yeah,
And you have a chance to win.
the original
Glasses worn by Paco.
Yeah, well, the NASCAR Paco.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yako.
Yeah, there you go.
Yako, the NASCAR fan.
So this is gonna guarantee us at least what do you think, Orion? Like 100,000 subscribers,
would that be pretty fair?
I don't know.
roughly.
Probably a little bit less than that.
A little less.
80,000.
So we'll go for 85K.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we made it, Corey.
Yep. Hey, so if somebody wants to see where they can participate in your giveaway, where could they go?
HaggardRacing.com. That'll do it.
Straight
Awesome,
up.
dude.
Well,
Well,
how do you find you on social media?
Haggard Garage on YouTube, and then just my name, Orion Dinovich, on Instagram.
That one's gonna be hard.
Wow.
hey.
Can you spell that?
Oh, God.
Yeah, DAJNOWICZ.
You just type in, there's a million Orions in the United States, Paco, so it's going to be tough to find. But thanks for giving us some insight on kind of what you're doing, Orion. It means a lot. I'll see you later on PUBG.
Oh, awesome. Thanks,
There
no
you
problem.
go.
Thanks for having me on.
Later,
Hey,
dude.
thanks, man. That was pretty crazy, dude. I mean, again, it's a matter of consistency, passion, and one of the things I talk about in every kind of business. You have to have pride on what you're doing.
Right.
Because like a lot of people start doing videos, they start blogging, and after the fifth one, they're like, this bullshit. Nobody's watching my shit. Like, and like they get burned like right away instead of keep
That's what
pushing.
everybody does.
Right? Everybody's vlogging.
Dude, I uploaded granted, I had a little bit of a jump because I already had like a decent following on Instagram from BMX. So when I started, I could kind of tell people like go to my YouTube, but still like for like 6 months, I was doing like 3,000 views per video or 1,000 views per video. And I was like, man, like this sucks kind of, and I just got to stick with it. And, I had all these friends that were YouTubers doing like Orion and them, doing hundreds of thousands of views a day.
Yep.
And I still don't do that, but it's still fun. I still enjoy doing it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about this for a while because this conversation has came up quite a bit. What would happen to the sport if a YouTuber or somebody with that caliber comes into the professional motorsport?
Yep.
It depends on how big you're talking, okay? Because like,
well, it's all based off how big is also based off how large is the audience of the sport that you're getting into, right? So if, for example, if somebody with 300 or 400, 500,000 subscribers gets into even, let's say, Formula Drift, you're already beating the top Formula Drift driver.
On media following, yeah.
So
you're beating Formula Drift.
And you're beating Formula Drift. So
yep.
Think about if somebody with, even 100,000 subscribers is probably like a level where it's like, dude, if you come into FD with 100,000 subscribers, that's going to change the sport on so many levels. And even me and you talked about this, right? So if some dude with 40, 50, 60, 100,000 subscribers comes in FD and they go to a sponsor or they go, propose, at SEMA, that's because that's where everybody gets free sponsorships when you go to SEMA. They walk in there and be like, hey guys, I want to compete in Formula Drift this year. And I'm sure that sponsor's like, all right, that's cool. We just had about 46 other people come in here, ask for the same thing. And then you go, oh, by the way, I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube or through my social media, and I do about 9 million to 6 million views a year. Now, right there, you are setting the bar so high for any other driver to come in and capture that, because for somebody to get 6 to 10 million views a year through their own channel is like super rare, and it's extremely rare right now.
You're right, and I mean, if it wasn't for YouTube and my social media reach, I wouldn't be able to do any of this car stuff. Now, that being said, I got very, very, very lucky with the brands that I work with. So because of my reach, a lot of these brands have never even seen me drive. And I put together a very good proposal, and I reached out to these brands, and the ones that I still can work with now going into 2018 kind of went out on a whim and decided to work with me without even knowing that I could wheel a car around a track.
Right.
Luckily, my car came together and I figured it out pretty quick, and now we're having a lot of fun partying in the car and making cool content in the car. But like, I have a lot of support from companies, and I'm happy to say that, and I'm very grateful to say that. And this following, and your analytics and reach play a huge part, because it's like you said, it sets you apart from the other 10,000 dudes that are competing in something or trying to do something that come in with a proposal. It sets you apart from them. And what you were mentioning, maybe a YouTuber going into FD, I don't really know of any that are specifically trying to do that at this moment. There's people that are like Adam LZ, who's a really good driver. He learned how to drive pretty fast. He could go into FD, pay for it all out of his own pocket, and not worry about a thing. You know what I mean? Like, he could do that. And congrats to him. I'm not like saying that in a bad way at all.
Because you just recently drove with him too. And he actually drove your car, right?
Yeah, he drove my car. It was sick. And I drove his, but I didn't film it because I'm stupid. But it was sick. And so, like, he could do that. And why would anybody give anybody else any money?
Right. Absolutely.
And so one of my goals is, like, I'm friends with a lot of FD drivers. I think it's such a cool series. I love going to them. I was just telling Orion he's never been to an FD, so I'm taking him to Long Beach. But I would love to do it. Like, I really would. And I think that the fact that I have so many friends that are like Pro 1 drivers that I drive with regularly, there's not really any mental barrier for me, because I drive with these dudes all the time anyways, that if I lined up with one at Atlanta, I would just look over at Pat, flip him off, and we'd go down the hill and into turn one. It would be a blast. Like, I don't think that there would be anything holding me back. But the other part is, you guys talk about it a lot on the show, it is getting expensive.
Yep.
And I think that that's sweet. I think that it is the premier series of this motorsport, and it should be expensive. It should be top tier drivers with top tier cars, with top tier gear. It should be the pinnacle.
Yeah,
so
because if it's not expensive, everybody does it, and that doesn't,
exactly. I agree 100%. So for me to get into it now, my YouTube doesn't make insane amounts of money. I get by. I pay my bills with YouTube money. I don't work. I would never consider YouTube work. It's too much fun to be work. But for me to get an FD, I would have to have basically a full ride.
Right.
That's the only way. So, I drove a little bit in 2017. I think I might hit some Pro-Am events this year. There isn't a Pro-Am local to me anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. But if I find a way to get a license, and we'll talk with some of my current partners, and they want to jump on board with it, maybe 2019 I'll be at Pro 2 or maybe drive Pro-Am in 2019. I don't know. But I would like to compete at some point, is what I'm saying.
Right, and especially coming from somebody that is involved with some sort of sport part of this, I'm sure that competition level is still there, where it's like, dude, I still have the urge to compete. You know what I mean? A lot of these dudes still obviously want to go out there and create content, but I think the urge of competition is just like everybody kind of vibes off that. You know what I mean? Like, we want that style of competition.
Going to FD is so much fun. Like, I've been there as a spectator, and it might be a little bit more fun because I have my friends that are drivers there, and I kind of get VIP treatment because I get to hang out in the rigs and stuff. And I think that just being there and experiencing that kind of just gave me this sort of motivation to I want to do this. You know what I mean? Not even I don't think I'm going to be the best driver, but I want to try. I'm going to, every time I go to a grassroots event, if I line up with somebody and we're going to go out on track, I'm not competing by any means, but I want to drive hard with this dude, and that's all competitive drifting is. You're driving balls to the wall against the best driver in the world. Who doesn't want to do that? That's so cool.
I think it's like the whole like being fun or not fun, I think it depends on the person. There's people who likes that. They like that challenge. They like, I mean, if you're an ambitious driver, you will enjoy the challenge. You will enjoy being in that position of pressure.
Well, I think that's why every FD driver keeps going back. You know what I mean? It's not because it is soup. Don't get me wrong. It is fun. It is fun. But I think they're hungry for the competition side. One
of the things that, for example, I was talking to Ryan Littoral this weekend. I met with him at L.A. just this weekend, and he's doing Pro 2
right
on somebody else's car. It's, ScoreWorks car. It's not his car. He's not putting it together. Like literally, he's just showing up and driving it, and then taking care of everything. But he's doing, like the Grid Live. He's doing a video series with Hoonigan, and he's just like literally he said, like for me, Formula Drift is like my side gig.
Oh, 100%.
I'm getting paid to show up and drive, and obviously, trying to win, but he likes he's doing the other stuff for fun. You can do both things.
Right.
He's doing both things. He's doing great, and the reason that they picked him up is because they like him. He's got some good attitude for professional and for content creating. Like he's filling all his bases.
Well, this is the other thing that we've talked about too, is to be a professional athlete in any form of sports nowadays. I believe if it's racing or football or whatever it is, I think the professionalism has to be the same if you're going to be a professional race car driver, football player, or just a professional fun haver or an amateur. I think that right there, the professionalism is what is giving you the ability to sell yourself and show that you're a promotable person or character. So a lot of these people is like, man, I want to be a grassroots guy forever. I want to be just a YouTuber forever. Well, you still have to be a professional, be able to create and sell that content. Because if you're just some slummy dude that doesn't put the effort in to be that professional grassroots guy, you're probably not going to get any momentum to get out of that or to grow your brand or whatever it is.
Exactly. And think about the people that get burnt out on FD. It's expensive, right? So they put all this money into it. Now, when you go into FD, hold on, I want to touch on this subject because I thought about talking about this before with you guys. And it's like, I come from BMX, right? So if you go to an X Games, it's invite only. When you show up to an X Games, they pay you $1,500 just to show up. And then if you win, it's $55,000. And then you've got a motorsport like Formula Drift, who does about the same numbers as X Games probably does a little more, but similar action sport, right? And you go to FD, you've got to pay it. What is it like? It's like the 8 entry fees, your hard cards. You have to pay for all that,
right? And
then you've got 8 rounds, and you can win $5,000 at an event, right?
Right.
And now, granted, people say, well, you're not your money's coming from your partners and your sponsors, not the series. But like, there's just not that much motivation to win an FD series. Like Nike, if you win X Games, Nike or any energy drink sponsor matches the earnings. So if you win an X Games at $55,000, Red Bull will match your winnings. So then you've got $110,000 that you've won that weekend. Well, that's so much motivation for an athlete to get prepared for it, to compete at the highest level. But you're just going to FD and you're spending, hundreds of $1,000s of your own money, and then you get burnt out and it's just over. So unless these drivers find a way to not foot the bill themselves, I don't care how rich you are, it still sucks throwing away hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, you're because you're investing it into yourself, and to get that return, there's no way to get that return. But for a company to invest $100,000 into the series, the whole idea is if I invest $100,000 into Caleb Quanbeck to run Pro 2, I hope Caleb can sell $300,000 worth of product because they have a reason to invest into you. If I were to pay $100,000 out of pocket, I'd be like, how am I going to make this money back? I really don't have a way to make that money back. So that's why it's important for the sponsors to see that value in you, because if they do and they give you that money, the whole idea is for them to triple their money or double their money that they've invested, or at least even break even.
Yeah, even to break even, just to break even, but then gain that limelight from being, involved and being in content and stuff, even if it doesn't, make you triple the product sales, but just to be there is cool. And if you break even, awesome. But the problem is, I think these brands are looking at FD and they're going, all right, it costs us triple the amount to sponsor an FD driver for a guy to be on track for a total of 6 minutes for the entire weekend. And then he's too busy to create any content, so you're just going off of whatever Formula Drift supplies as far as content and the media teams that are there. So you guys have talked about, you've got to hire a media team. And that gets extremely expensive.
Yeah.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Corey like almost lost his breath when he heard that. It's like,
no, I was listening to Paco type over here too. No, I totally agree with you on everything that you just said. And going back to kind of the topic you were just talking about is like, these drivers are bringing the funding in to go compete, and X Games is they're inviting, meaning it's free to compete, but you have to be invited. That money that they raise, the stickers that they put on their helmets, are paying them to be there. Now that's, like you said, motivation and incentive to be a professional athlete. Like for myself, if I raise $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 to go professional drifting, that's incentive me to keep working, also develop and maybe put some of that money in my program. But now I can make a living. I can turn the just drifting thing into a full-time job. And that's where a lot of these guys are struggling, and we still hear this today, is they have full-time jobs. They're paying out of pocket. Then they got to go work on the car. Then they got to manage a team. And then they show up to the racetrack, and then some of the fans are like, oh, he shows up in the biggest piece of shit in this little rig, and da-da-da-da-da. He's not going to go anywhere. Well, it's like, even having that little setup, do you know how hard it was to get? You know what I mean? Like
Chelsea Tanofa. Chelsea Tanofa is the perfect example. And I got so much respect for that dude. Actually, you know what? Shout out Chelsea, because pretty much all of my knowledge in the sport came from Chelsea.
There you go.
And he is like him, and there's other dudes too, but I remember just seeing him pull up to Long Beach in like a 10-year-old truck and a 28-foot trailer and win.
Yeah.
what else? That is the shit.
Yeah. No, and still, even you look at that setup there, it's like somebody had to go out there and raise funding for even that little small truck and trailer to get there. And it's not easy. So it's like you have these dudes going out there and doing this crazy hustle. And trust me, I still do it to this day. But it's like the reward for us is, it's not making tons of money. And some are, some aren't. But it's like the reward is just, we're out here. You know what I mean? We're here. That's kind of where it pays off.
I just think there's a way for everybody to make money.
Dude, and I totally agree with you. And I love the idea. I wish, even if Formula D says, hey, do you know we have a 32-car cap? It's free to get in. It's invite only. The money you raise, you can put that into your program, but you're going to save between hard cards and licensing,
$8,000,
8, 9, probably 10 grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you get your entries and hard cards waived. You're saving 10 grand on top of that. So now you're just paying for your expenses to get there and some other, maintenance and shit like that. But still, a 10 grand bonus is not a bad bonus to have, especially when you're running a race car on a shoestring budget.
Well, dude, and the thing with like YouTube and stuff, like, I have been doing this for 1 year. It took me 10 years in BMX to go from nothing to where I was in BMX. And drifting, I mean, I'm older now, so I have a little bit better of an understanding on how industries work. But, it's just like, you're like, okay, well, I did this in a year. Where can I be in 5 years? And that's my motivation, really. It's working my butt off for something that like I truly love. Like I've never found anything else in my life besides BMX that made me happy. And then I stumbled upon drifting and I fell in love with it. And now it is drifting every day. I watch videos of all my favorite drivers. I work on my car every day. I'm excited to read stories about drifting. I'm on Instagram following all my favorite drifters. Like it is my life. And I'm like low key like a little fanboy. You know what I mean? And I'm all right with that. Like when I kick it with Chelsea, he's one of my best friends. But I'm still excited to kick it with him because he's like my favorite driver.
Right. No, absolutely.
That's cool.
And now with this whole drifting thing, you didn't really tell us earlier, but what are you drifting nowadays?
Oh, my car?
Yeah.
So I got an S14. It's a kooky S14 with a 408 LS aluminum block, high compression, makes around 500. Koenig wheels, BC coilovers, ISR rear arms, Doof body kit, wink wink.
Working on it.
Me too. And then Holly. Well, actually, so my car took forever to get together,
Right.
and that kind of screwed me in 2017. And then Holly decided that they wanted to work with me, and that changed. That pretty much changed my life.
Right.
Working with Holly, like it made everything happen. Like everything that happened from May of 2017 to where I am now wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Holly coming on board.
Wow.
And I'm still working with them in 2018. So big shout out to them.
Awesome,
Nice.
dude. Yeah, it's things like that, man. It's like companies' involvements like that really helps people come a long ways. And like once again, we thank AM McLeod and a couple other people like helping me this year. It's like Motegi and Weisco and Weisfab and all these other dudes. It's like they're helping us get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what helps the sports grow. The more people that we can get involved in the sport, it's going to be better for everybody. It's going to be better for the series. It's going to be better for the drivers. It's going to be better for the companies. And everybody's like, dude, but FD would be selling out, or these other pro-ams would be selling out if they get big manufacturing budget, or if they be. Realistically, they're giving more opportunities for more people to get involved to give people more money.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to get Adam and Eve to sponsor my program for 2018. His and Hers Toys. You guys heard of them? AdamandEve.com.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, they got a huge budget, so I'm just gonna see if they'll jump on. Title sponsor, my door's open, it's available. But that's really what it is. It's like I feel like so many bridges get burned because drivers feel the need to send out proposals that they can't back up, and then it scares the companies away, or drivers hit up companies, small brands, like wheel brands. They'll hit up a wheel brand for $50,000.
Right.
And the wheel brand's like, what the fuck? Like, they're like, we don't even have that for our entire company.
We're going back to Chang Ching Wheels, and they're going to give us. We're asking $80,000, and they only sell 20 grand or 20 wheels a year. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many small automotive companies out there that would love to get involved in the sport. They're just not there yet. Unfortunately, they will if they stick with it, obviously. But it's like I'm sure I'm bleeding into your rant a little bit, but.
No, it's okay.
It's all right, guys, for large companies getting there. Like who was it that said it's like I don't know, I don't want to see Coca-Cola on the side of the cars. Was that Aaron or who was it that said that?
He didn't want to see like Tide.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't want to see Tide on drift cars. I think. Yeah.
Why do you not want to see these drivers?
I think that. Yeah. I think
that's a living doing what they love. Like how can you shit on somebody that takes a sponsorship from a company that has the money to keep them on the track, keep them in a reliable car, in a reliable rig. And creating content and giving you something to watch.
Yeah. So tell me this, like if you even asking, like, let's pick Injuku, right? Because Injuku's a pretty large automotive company, right? Especially in the industry that we're in. It's like imagine if 10 people goes to Injuku and goes, hey man, I need $60K to go running this year. I need $6K, and there's 10 people asking them. What's the chance of Injuku giving out that $60K?
I can tell you that not one of those people will get $60K.
Okay, right. So let me ask you this then. Let's say if you go to Tide or you go to Coca-Cola, you have 10 guys going up there saying, hey, man, we need $60K. We'll give you our whole car wrap. What do you think the chances of them saying, okay?
They'll probably give one dude $600K.
Well, but that's the point, because what's $600K in a $20 billion budget? You know what I mean? Or
it's almost not even worth it to them. They don't even care.
Dude, that's the problem. And I can tell you guys this. I'll tell a story right now. I've had some meetings with billion-dollar companies. Like I've been in a boardroom, top floor, sitting across the chief founding officer of companies, and literally asked and was scared to ask for like $100,000, right? And literally when I told them that number, like you said, they were just like, 100. I spend that a month in electricity. You know what I mean? Like, how could I take you seriously when my power bill is worth more than what you're asking? And that's the problem with a lot of these larger companies. They'll kind of like bat an eye at these little numbers. But when somebody comes in and goes, "Hey, man, we're looking to run NASCAR. We need $23 million." Now they're like, if we could take this guy a little bit more seriously, he's asking for a bigger budget. He's looking to really hit it mainstream. We know the presence is there. Like, boom, it's easy for them, because these little tiny dollar amounts here and there for big organizations, they're just like, dude, what is that? What is that for me? But they don't realize that.
Here's something for you, dude. Okay, so you're talking Coca-Cola, right?
let's just
we're
say,
talking mainstream media.
Right.
Now, these companies are starting to see the fluctuation and the change in the way that content is delivered to the youth.
Absolutely.
So YouTube is there. Coca-Cola sponsored Adam LZ.
I bet.
And it's, I mean, I don't know the exact figure, but it's a big figure.
Right.
And I shouldn't even be speaking on this really, but I just know that they sponsored him. I think it's for a year, and it has nothing to do with his drifting, or BMX. It's just they sponsored him.
Right.
Wow.
No,
And that's sick. That's awesome. Like, I congratulate him for that. I don't know what the number is, but I can only imagine it probably helped his life out a lot. And it's awesome.
Do you know what though? It's kind of funny. Like, I'm saying it as I'm thinking it. It's like, well, realistically, if you have a sponsor like that come into a channel or come into somebody's network, and let's say I have Coca-Cola come up to me and I make 10-minute videos, what commercial does Coca-Cola or has Coca-Cola ever had where they literally had a 10-minute presentation and had people, hundreds of thousands of people engaged in that? Not saying Coca-Cola's going to be blasted the whole entire time, but it's that relative engagement that they're going to be getting from the audience, right? It's going to be a longer term. Because you can see, I could even see it now in marketing. It's like, you see these people even back in the day where they'll pop into one FD event and they'll vanish and they're never talked of again. To really be lucrative at media and marketing is consistency. So what is going to be more consistent than have a guy making a video every single day for 365 days, right?
Exactly.
Why would I?
Even,
and it's easier for me to write a check for $200,000 for somebody like that than give the Super Bowl. Not saying the Super Bowl. Let me think of it. Somebody that's going to air during the Jimmy Fallon show for $500K for one episode. Where's the value at? The value is obviously going to be in that other person that gets 30, 50, 60 million views for the year for half the price.
Yeah. But that's also another thing we come back to is it's undercutting. So like everybody wants to do shit for the cheapest possible, amount they can. And so you have drifting that comes into motorsports, and they're going to once these corporate companies discover drifting,
right,
and content creators that are involved with drifting, whether it be Formula Drift or just YouTube in general, these dudes are going to start taking the NASCAR checks away and the bigger checks in a similar industry away. When Formula Drift is doing numbers that are growing fast, you guys compare NASCAR and Formula Drift together. What happens when Formula Drift reaches a very close level to NASCAR, and then a Formula Drift driver goes to Tide and says, "Hey, we'll do it for $1 million."
Well, let me tell you this. I've had some meetings with some companies that have sponsored NASCAR cars in the full-blown NASCAR series. It wasn't like the Busch series. It wasn't like the NASCAR wet. This is like full-blown NASCAR, right? And I have meetings with companies that sponsor them. And their problem right now that they have investing into sports like that, and I had this exact conversation with them because we were talking about media and content creation, and I just want to give a shout out to Keep Drifting Fun. They're in here, and they're obviously awesome content creators, and I've been following them forever. Shout out to Will Rogie.
Is that Will?
Yep, I believe it's Will Rogie.
Like Will.
But I just want to say what's up to him. I'm a huge fan of his. Obviously, he's been a huge contributor to the sport for so long. But
I just hung out with him in California.
Yeah, but going back to content creation and meeting with these companies that sponsor NASCAR, here's the problem with sponsoring NASCAR, right? When you sponsor a car, so let's say Caleb Quanbeck Racing sponsors a NASCAR, right? You're going to spend $20 million. That $20 million, you know what that does? That gets you the name on the car, and that gets that car to the track, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if Caleb Quanbeck Racing wants media and content of that car from a NASCAR event, I believe, my numbers may be wrong, but from what I recall from the conversation, you're spending anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000 per second. And you have to buy that media from NASCAR because any content created or shot from NASCAR is owned by NASCAR. So if I wanted to create a 10-second commercial of Paco driving the Caleb Quanbeck Racing NASCAR, I have to go to NASCAR and say, here's $600,000. I need 10 seconds of content of my car on track. And then I have to take that content, edit it, shoot it. So even making any type of commercial for TV or for ads, I would have to buy that content of a NASCAR. That's why you'll see, and I've even heard that the sponsorship in NASCAR are dipping because they're finding other motorsports organizations where, do you know what? I can pay a driver $500,000 a year, but guess what? I'm not spending $10 million in buying rights for footage that's owned by the organization.
Yep. No, that's really interesting, and I think that these bigger court. Here's another problem. All right, you guys have talked about it. NASCAR doesn't hit that young demographic. Now, one of the biggest things that I do when pitching to a brand that I want to work with them is I make sure to show my analytics. One of those things is the age demographic that my content targets.
Right.
And that age demographic is 16 to 24 and 24 to 35.
Right.
Those are the biggest percentages. And that's perfect. If you're a brand, these are young adults that have found a passion in drifting or just car culture in general, and you're, putting this product out in front of them and giving them what are you guys doing over there?
Corey's checking his email. I think he got some email from some prince in Dubai or something. He's trying to give him money.
Uganda.
He just hurts. He wants to start sponsoring us now, but
Prince Albert?
Show me the way.
There you go. Some people will get that one.
no.
So you were saying?
Oh, I was saying that, dude, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember.
Oh.
I was saying, dude, I don't remember. You
It's
tell
all
me,
right.
what was I saying?
No, he just had a full meltdown right here. No, it's just interesting, but that goes back to the value. You right? That goes back to the value of everything. Is that other organizations are figuring out that other forms of motorsports are doing a new way to create media and content and share it for a better bang for the buck for the eyes. And I think that's kind of what we're getting down to. Even through NHRA or NASCAR, these other organizations are very old school, right? They're very old school. Now this new wave is coming in with the vloggers, the individual content creators, and now these individual media outlets, right? That are affordable. And that's kind of what's happening nowadays. It's interesting to see that wave, and that's that new wave we constantly keep talking about.
Yeah, I remember what I was saying now. I was talking about age demographics. So
Right.
if you've got a company like Enjuku sponsoring your program,
Right.
their target demographic is 16 to 35-year-old car enthusiasts. They want to sell as much foreign, tuner parts as possible, things to make your car better, to go to the track and perform better, which is perfect. But then you've got a company like Tide. Their age demographic is not 16 to 24.
Actually, right now it is. All the kids chewing on Tide Pods.
Well, that's probably
That
the
is
best thing that's
their
happened to the company
demographic right now. Because let me tell you, man, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen spreading so with such crazy.
That's the best thing that's ever happened to Tide.
Dude,
Caleb's gone. He's going to get his Tide shirt on now.
I think, yeah, we blew up his mind.
I think he has some Tide Pods.
I hope he comes back with a bowl of Tide Pods. Oh, what's up?
Where do you go?
Smoky?
Oh, there you go.
God. There you go.
No! Don't die, buddy.
Would you die?
Oh, dude, that shit.
You're gonna
would-
get
it's-
really
You'd
sick.
probably at least
Yeah.
get diarrhea for a week. At
Hey,
least.
do you-
At least
do
it
you
would
want-
smell good.
You
Everspring.
want something really funny, dude. When we first got these in the house, this was like a few months ago. I was like, I just want to eat one of these, and I don't know why.
No.
And
They
because,
look
dude, they
tasty,
just
yum.
put in your hand.
I'm
So
sure-
then this whole new epidemic started, and I just want to say that I almost started a new wave.
Dude, I just don't know. I bet if you Googled what is Tide, what do you call those things? Tide
Tide Bomb,
Pods.
dude.
Google what Tide Pods taste like. I'm sure you'll find your answers without even having to try to eat it. But what do you guys say about this? What do you want to answer some Instagram questions there?
I'm ready.
Quanbeck?
Yeah, do you want me to look or are you looking?
Oh, you
We'll
can
look.
look as well.
You sit back and you relax, dude. Don't try to jump the gun, buddy. You just chill. You just chill and look good with that little mustache you got.
Whoa. Little, dude. Have
I
you
love
seen
it.
this thing?
Look at that.
Dude, that's a dirty
Hey,
Sanchez.
do the stash spread. There you go.
Oh, man.
And that's how our video gets demonetized. We got the flag right there.
All right, guys, we are jumping over to the Instagram questions. We'll also try to do some digging on Facebook and YouTube. We've had quite a few questions pop up. But here we go. Let's see. Paco, you pulling up some questions?
Give me 1 second. All right,
dun,
so
dun,
let's see.
dun,
Dude,
dun.
we have a bunch. Over 100 questions. Let's
Is that
see.
good?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to answer a Facebook question. I'm just going to respond to Mike Lake and say, you're absolutely right, buddy. And you guys.
What was the question?
I'm not going to read it.
Oh.
That's it. All right. So here we go. Let's go to here. This is from Max Frolic. Hey, Caleb, are you going to come to Ontario, Canada for Top Drift Boonies Bash? Come out. Let's party.
Probably not, unfortunately. I don't know when that is. It's probably in the summer, I'm guessing. But I don't have any plans to go to Canada. I do have some plans to go to other foreign places this year. Canada's not one of them. I'm sorry. But you can come to Florida. We've got a bunch of great events in OSW.
There you go. Here's another one. Anthony Wiley 68. What do your tattoos mean, and why did you choose them?
Each and every one of them?
Probably the ones on your head.
I mean, some of them mean stuff. Some of them don't mean anything. It's like.
Well, what do you got on your face? What do you got on your face?
It says Hosford.
Oh, I wish, dude. That's a sponsor spot. I pay $5 a year for it.
A little lower.
Oh, hold on.
There you go.
Is that working?
Oh, we have Brian moving the camera around a little bit.
No, it's
there
okay.
you go.
I can see it now. Perfect.
Outsider. What does that mean?
This side's a little coffin, and it's actually the logo for my brand, which is fucking nothing.
Makes
It's just a
sense.
coffin. It means nothing.
He actually got the coffin because he saw the YouTube video. Put him in a coffin.
It's all about YouTube.
People ask me all the time, they're like, oh, like some kid at the skate park yesterday actually told me that I was never going to get a job because my face is tattooed. Well, let me tell you guys, if you get a face tattoo, you're going to work twice as hard in life to make sure you have a good job. And I get by pretty well.
It's just a way to push yourself to work harder.
Hey, so here's this. Yeah. So when we were in Arizona, Caleb almost got kicked out of a bar for having face tattoos.
What?
No, they wouldn't let me into the bar.
Oh, they wouldn't let him into the bar. That's what it was.
What kind of bar was this?
We went to Hefe on Mill.
Oh my God.
Like the place has
the video.
No, the place has women like women with tattoos all over their faces.
So the thing is,
on the walls.
Me, Larry, Larry and Tyser's brother Mitch, and Caleb, we go to a bar together, right? And
that's how the joke starts.
Yeah, that's how the three guys walk into a bar.
Yeah.
You have one with the tattoo on the face, you have a skinny Canadian, and then you have a meatball, right? The meatball and the skinny hair guy gets in, and Caleb gets stuck out. And so then we had to bully the bullies, which is the bouncers, to get him in finally.
To get all three danger daddies inside the bar.
And it was funny, because one thing Caleb said after that is like, dude, I've been in like 5-star diners and restaurants, and I've never been kicked out anywhere, but a shithole bar won't even let me in because I have these things.
I dumped a whole cooler of ice water on Corey's head in the bar too.
Yep.
We saw that.
We did cause some mess there, and that was okay, but that's because they didn't let you in originally until we had to bully them up a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay, next question. I'm ready.
I have a question. This one, it needs a little bit of a hip hop beat on the background.
Go ahead.
It says, "Dear Caleb, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling."
Is that it?
Is that really what
That's
it
more
says?
of a statement.
He was like, the guy was like trying to do like an Eminem kind of thing, like that song Stan. Sorry, race course stuff. I thought it was gonna be funnier, but I failed.
Here you go. Alika 80. Who's your favorite YouTuber? Also, who is the YouTuber you hate the most? Answer: Jake and Logan Paul. Aloha from Hawaii. Hold on. Wait, there's a clarification. What's your favorite automotive YouTuber?
And least favorite, or just favorite?
Do favorite YouTuber and then your least favorite general channel or whatever.
Probably. Do you guys know who Micah Diaz is?
Nope.
It's not a big. I mean, no offense, Micah. He's from California. He drives an LS E36 and Pro Am. It's got like the wide body E36 kit on it.
Okay.
You guys should look him up. His name's Micah Diaz, and he started a channel not that long ago. And I was uploading nonstop because he was unemployed at the time, and then he got a job and stopped uploading. And I'm so pissed because I was really into his channel, and that's probably my favorite right now. I like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know. I like Cletus McFarlane. You guys know who that is?
Yeah, 1320.
Yeah, brother.
Yep, he's pretty good.
I like him.
let's
You want me
see.
to start least?
Yeah, sure. If you have one.
Does that matter? Does it have to be automotive?
No, it could be anything.
I don't really watch anything, but I don't know this dude personally, but I don't really like his channel. That dude in blue, I just can't do it, dude. Sorry. Can't watch it.
Oh, gotcha.
That's me being honest.
All right, no, that's fine. Honesty's what's that quote? Honesty is the root to success.
He might be a nice guy.
That's a new one.
That's a
Corey.
new quote right there.
But you'll be
from
quoted.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
There's lots of people that don't like my channel, and that's completely okay. You know,
And like you said at the beginning of the show, it's like, hey man, watch it. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, it's all right. There's a million other channels
Move
out there.
on.
It's all real.
yeah,
man.
some dude commented on your Instagram said,
Who's
I can't
that?
stand this guy on YouTube.
Who's that? Say it.
I don't know. Let's find it and I'll give him a shout out.
Let's see here.
Let's see. Midnightdreams.co. What's your spirit food? Because spirit animals are so 2017.
Yeah, pretty much all food.
I saw you eating Wendy's earlier. That's pretty spirit.
My girlfriend, she got Wendy's and I just drank her drink because she went to sleep.
Good. Put her in a headlock and got her drink from her.
Oh, dude, yeah, she's been eating a bunch.
I have a good question, actually.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
This is
Whoa, Corey, come on, dude. The internet doesn't know. What the fuck?
Dude, I'm just saying congrats, dude. I said congrats on getting a girlfriend finally.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Paco. What were you going to say?
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I have a question from our buddy Jacob from Pistonhead Productions. Have you been hit by the new YouTube algorithm, also known as the what do you call it again? The
Plague?
The
plague?
Yeah, they call it the. I had it in my. I can't remember right now. If so, any tips for combating it? Like, have you noticed any?
Yeah. So there's a couple different things. What he's probably talking about is that every video you upload instantly gets demonetized.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason. It just does. There'll be a little yellow $sign instead of a green $sign. And supposedly YouTube's fixing that. Mine has been better with it. I know Taylor Ray. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Taylor Ray, YouTuber from Florida. He's been having a bunch of trouble with that, which is unfortunate. The other thing is that some people bitch about, especially this time of year, is the companies that advertise on YouTube are still working out budgets for advertising. So there's less advertisers on YouTube in January and February. And my revenue on YouTube gets cut in half. Like, it gets destroyed in these 2 months. And some people don't fall victim of that. Some do. I am. So I'm with that guy, Pistonhead. What was it? Pistonhead Productions?
Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob. Yeah, I'm with you, brother, dude. It sucks. Just keep uploading. Just keep going.
It's called the Adpocalypse.
Adpocalypse.
Yeah,
it sucks. Just upload twice as much, or just don't upload at all and wait for it to get better.
Here's a question. This is one of my favorite questions, and of course, the Dukester drops it on us. Iron Dookie.
I love him, dude.
Dude, Iron Dookie has a good one for you. All right, you ready?
Sure.
If you were to do a final bout style drift event, what driver would you want to be on your team, and what would your team name be? So you have to pick 3 drivers, and you have to have a team name.
All right.
He has to take a drink for this one to clear his pipes.
Drivers. I'll pick Mr. Denofa.
Okay.
I would pick 3 drivers. Fuck.
Come on.
Dude, well, there's so many, dude.
Corey Hosford.
Everybody's a great driver.
Think logistics. Who logistically could possibly do it?
I want to know. Pick anybody around the world. Let's say you have no budget. What 3 drivers would you have on your, or what 3 drivers?
All right,
You have Denofa?
Chelsea.
Yep.
My friend Marcus from Portland, the guy that got me into drifting.
Okay.
And one more. Who do I like to drive with? Jeff Stonebeck. I love Jeff.
There you go.
Happy birthday, Jeff. It was his birthday yesterday or 2 days ago.
And what would your team name be?
Oh, dude. Okay, here's the problem that I'm really not into that kind of stuff. Not that I have anything against final bout style drifting, but
what would your team name be? This is all
Just
fun and
make
jokes, Dad.
something
this isn't
up.
serious. Come on, Dad.
I don't even know any names of the teams that are out there right now.
All right, so here, let me tell you this. Iron Dookie has some suggestions for you.
Oh, what? Why didn't you just give me that? In the
Because I wanted to. Okay, so this is a team name. This is suggested by the Duke. Okay.
How many are there? So I can
Dad,
choose, like,
chill out. So you have the Nova, you have your dude from Portland, and you have Stonebeck. His idea is your team's all dressed up as Hasidic Jews or rabbis, and you call your team Jumanji.
Is that racist?
Problem solved. No, it's not.
No.
It's just a style of drifting. It's a Jumanji, dude.
Dude, that's crazy because I'm really not creative. So
You need Iron
Duke.
Dookie on your marketing team, dude.
Duke, DM me, dude. Let's work something out.
There you go. Just slide it. That's how you slide into Caleb's DMs.
Hey, so
I already talked to Dookie.
Oh, there you go. Fuck, man, dude. Like, I think Duke is most
Yeah,
famous than
fair.
us, dude.
I'll talk to Duke.
more skids ask, do you miss him as much as he misses you?
Do I? Oh yeah. I talk about Quentin all the time. I love Quentin and DJ.
Oh, he's such a nice
He-
guy.
he-
More skids. It's
yeah.
another cool group.
I
of
have
people.
one from username Jeff Stonebeck.
Oh what?
Oh yeah, he says he's long time listener. This is first time commenter.
My friend Marcus from back home just texted me and gave me the damn son all the shout outs on Driftcast.
There you go.
He's a viewer. That's
Uh-huh. Well, thanks for listening.
Macho Man Randy Sanchez says June Manji. That's another good one. Dude,
Hold on,
how
what
come you
did
didn't
Jeff
pick
say?
June Mang on your team? I'm kind of bummed about that.
I don't even know who June Mang is. Just kidding.
he was
Oh,
ta- he
don't
was
even
taking-
go there. Don't even go there.
because he was taking already. So
Okay, Jeff Stonebeck.
Jeff Stonebeck asked, this is a question actually for Caleb Quanbeck and Pat Gooden. Somehow.
Okay, go ahead.
He's asking, have you ever heard of at Sweeney Step?
Is there a? Didn't he tag somebody on that? Click on it.
Yeah, he tapped Sweeney Step.
What is it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If, let me show the audience first. So
Phone him in.
how to do that?
Yep.
It's an Instagram
on.
account.
Hold on.
I think it's a bar.
Are you guys like on a time schedule? Because I could really just do this all night.
Hey,
I got to go eat some hot dogs here in a minute.
Sam.
so-
Dude, you don't even eat hot dogs. Why don't you spill the beans to the viewers that you don't even eat hot dogs?
Don't even go there, Caleb.
Brian
I
needs
eat
to
more
go-
hot dogs than you've ever dreamed of in your life.
Hold on, dude. It's already happening. It's already happening.
Uh-oh. He's calling Stone Neck.
Okay, let's see if we can
Yeah,
put
Caleb-
him on speaker.
You have Caleb Quanbeck and Jeff Stone Neck. They're both necks.
Yep. Let's see if he picks up.
Uh-oh. He's probably
How is
sleeping.
he gonna?
Dude, it's
I know.
probably midnight where he's at, or 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's
and
right, 'cause he's
you're
on the other
waking
side.
up his baby. His wife's gonna be like, "Who's calling you in the middle of the night?" Booty call.
Ari is not a baby. She is a toddler, and I love her.
I know, but she's a little baby like sleeping at midnight, dude. She's not she's not an owl like you who goes to bed at 4 a.m. there, Dad.
We'll get to the bottom of this, and we'll let you guys
All right.
know what that.
This is a
Sweeney
real
Step
question,
is.
Paco. Can I get into a real question
Please.
for Caleb the Swan Quanbeck?
Quanbeck.
Yep. I called you the Swan because it's like you're an ugly duckling when you're born, but now you're a beautiful swan.
Aw.
Yeah, give me some real questions. Give me some real ones.
All right. Stop pressuring me, dude.
Jeez.
God, this is the most bossiest
Wow.
guest we've ever had, man. Come on.
Hey, shameless plug.
There you go.
All right, this is from Lincho Drift. Was it hard for you to start talking to a selfie camera in public? Follow-up questions. What are the key challenges to become a drifter and making regular content? That's pretty good.
Dude, I agree, man. Just like earlier, I was like just
Yeah,
shooting
hey,
real quick, and
I'm,
one of my neighbors walked by. I felt like so weird. Like,
Like
shit, I have to
70.
go back inside.
Dude,
How
okay,
hard was
listen,
it?
It's actually starting to get more embarrassing for me.
Really?
Like I'm 26 now, and when I'm at a mall with my girlfriend and I pull out my camera, like I've gotten to the point where I don't do lifestyle vlogs anymore. Like how a lot of the automotive channels, they like go out and film other things
Lifestyle.
besides the car stuff. I can't do that. So it's difficult, and hearing your own voice, that sometimes messes with your confidence with creating content. But once you work past that, always hold the camera up high a little bit. It makes you look better. I got Forsberg in these new videos holding the camera down by his pocket. and I can literally tell it's because he's embarrassed to do it in the store.
He's speaking
was-
softly.
Did you see it in the video today
Oh, yeah.
when he was at the metal store?
He said that
And he's
he has IMS.
He's like, all right, guys, I'm at the metal store. You guys see everything? All right, bye. And it's like, he turns off the camera, and that's when that comes back to being shy, And it's either don't be shy and go balls in and film it right, or don't do it that way because then it looks weird and nobody can hear you and your camera's on the floor. So,
Dude, that's so funny. I did that at airport when I started doing my vlog. Went to Long Beach.
I
was
know
like,
you did. I told you that.
I'm like, I'm just going to go straight up with it. I don't even care. And what people looked at me a little weird, but you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's not about them.
But you have always been that guy who does the weird shit in front of people, Corey.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta, you know,
I'm
you have
just okay
that.
with it. The thing is I don't care what people say or do, man.
I'm surprised you still like haven't run naked like in front of.
Do you know what? I did tell Andy Luck I wanted to be the first guy to streak at FD.
Streak FD.
I was literally at Irwindale, and I'm standing next to Harry Kong, who's like the Nitto guy. I'm standing next to Chris Mady, which is the AM guy. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting there thinking, and this is during a top 16 intro, and I'm not thinking about the top 16 drivers that they're announcing. I'm like, nobody's ever streaked before, and right now would be the perfect time to do it. Can you imagine? All right, 16th, we have Matt Field, and then I'm in the back just doing the helicopter. I'd have my underwear on, but I'd be doing the helicopter. But that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that. And do you know what's funny? Is Jim or Andy Luck came up to me. He's like, if we have a bunch of streakers next year in Formula Drift, we're blaming you. And I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope somebody breaks the ice and becomes the first streaker. Well, if they become a streaker, at least have some sort of like, if you become a streaker, wear a Borat green bikini,
or you know, you cover your junk with one hand, but stick a hot dog on the back.
No,
try to keep it so it doesn't fall.
Make it completely legal. I would respect it if you do it naked. I won't respect it very much, but do it. You could have something written on your chest in an underwear. That'd be just as cool. But there needs to be a streaker in Formula Drift, and I was going to be the first one. The thing is, I'd probably get halfway down the start straightaway, get tired and take a break, and then the security guards would take me out. But
get tackled and just drag your dinger across the fucking infield.
Oh, no!
All right, give me another serious one, and then I'll let you guys move on.
Perfect. And then, we'll be wrapped up.
Okay.
Let's see.
Paco, you're supposed to be looking, dude.
Well, I was actually looking on YouTube. There's also a lot of funny comments. And it's mostly comments and questions. Like J Rizzo 240 asks, roller skates and tight shorts.
Paco, we had one more question, and you just grabbed one out of nowhere. Asked him about
that was it, dude. Roller skates. God. I'm just kidding. Give me a roll.
Yeah, Paco, you had one duty.
Let's see.
I saw people asking about like next year and stuff, and I figure.
Yeah, do you know? Here's a good one. I can't find it because you had like 160 comments on here. What events? What's your event schedule looking like for next year? And the person asking that is Sausage Whistle 44.
It's a great name.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, actually, I just so happen to have my schedule kind of. It's a rough schedule, okay?
All right.
Mind you.
So we start with December. And then August.
I'm coming back to see you guys. Don't even worry.
All right, perfect. Keep going.
Yep. Okay, but let me just pull this up here. I'm just looking for my email. Okay, got it. All right, so I'm doing both LS Fests, and the first one is in Vegas.
Yep.
May 4th through the 6th. I'll be there with Orion Dinovich.
Yep.
Dinovich. And then Bowling Green, Kentucky is the LS Fest East, and that's September 8th through the 10th. Grid Life Midwest and South. Midwest is June 7th through the 10th. South is August 24th through the 26th. Hopefully Nick Swan lets me drive. Winter Jam, I'm not missing that this year. I heard there was 7,500 spectators and like 350 cars. It looked great. I'm going. Desert Mahon, East Coast Bash, and hopefully Turk does another Turk Bash at Park because I really want to go to Park this year and hang out with my not my old friends, but my friends and
your old friends are all your friends are all 60 or 70. Now he has like friends that are like 80 years old. His old friends from Portland. Yeah, they're just a bunch of old guys.
So we're gonna do that. Still working with the same companies from last year. I don't. Very happy with everybody that helped me out last year. So we're moving forward. Awesome. And the car is going to be looking a lot different. I'm working on a livery right now with a very good designer who did some of the Injuku stuff. Hopefully gonna have a new body kit, and then
It's on the works. It's on the works.
or two, and then I'm really bad at keeping body kits on my car. Suck.
Yeah, I know. When you have it that low and you pull it out of the trailer, it just rips them right off.
Yeah, or you just crash into every wall. Period. So yeah, new body kit, new livery, same color paint. It's gonna be sweet. I'm really excited.
Dude.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. This is kind of like my favorite thing I've done so far in drifting is being on the show. I've watched every episode since the first one.
That's awesome, dude.
Have you been like a subscriber since then, or do you just like binge watch?
Yeah. No, I've been a subscriber since. I think you had like 2 out when I subscribed, maybe 3. But I only watch them on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like watching the video ones.
Well, but before we take off here, can you show us how to do? Please click the like and subscribe. And
Yeah.
can you give us can you give us a rundown on how we do a closer?
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. That's gonna do it for today's video. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and turn the notification button on. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Thank you, Caleb, for being on the show. You can follow Caleb at Caleb Quanbeck. Follow his YouTube channel. Always a fun dude to be around. We hopefully will see you before Desert Mayhem. But thanks again for everything. Give us the insight on everything that you know about drifting and the YouTubes.
Thank you for having me, guys. I'll see you soon.
All right, buddy. We'll
See you later, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I was expecting him doing like the hand into the camera thing. You know, like later, guys.
See you. Oh,
Yeah,
it hits himself in the face.
Goes into
It's a
black.
pow. Well, there you go, Paco. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's great. I mean, I really.
Oh, okay. Brian, what do you have to say? I hope Brian comes in just.
No, it was but like what?
Can you? Yeah, I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Brian was playing PUBG all this time while we were talking, dude.
I was hoping Brian. I wish when we say Brian, what do you think? He would just be the most rudest, vulgar person.
Oh.
All right, Brian. Let me ask you. Hey, Brian. So what do you think about what just happened with Caleb? The interview. How'd it go?
Who is this guy? I never heard of him before.
Oh, me neither. No, Caleb's an awesome dude. I met him for the first time when he came out Desert Mayhem. We've been obviously. It's funny because the internet's a weird place because you can actually, you could actually meet somebody through Instagram or Facebook or YouTube and talk.
Yep.
For months and years. And I've talked to Caleb for probably a year now, and I've never met him. And I met him the first time in person out here at Desert Man. But it's like when I saw him face to face, it's like, dude, I already know you already. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I'm catching up and meeting a new guy. It's like, hey, bro, it's like we literally ran around and ran errands together.
Funny when that happens.
It's
like,
crazy that the power of the internet can do that. You can create friendships and relationships now through YouTube, through Instagram, through Facebook. I wouldn't do it through Craigslist, because you can get in some deep, dark trouble with that. But it's just crazy what the internet does, and Caleb's a prime example of what it's like to, see a character, meet them. It's the real person, and it's not this fake persona that you're seeing. So it's a pretty cool place. But anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Thank our Patreons.
Yeah,
you got to thank them. You guys are awesome.
We would again, like always, we wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't because of you guys.
Yep. And if you guys would like to be a Patreon, that'd be awesome. That'd help us so much. We have a big schedule about to be released, and we have some huge announcements actually potentially for this year. But the Patreon definitely helps. So patreon.com/maximum driftcast.
You can do $1. That dollar is amazing.
That's awesome.
If you do two, you're twice as amazing.
Yep. So we appreciate you guys. We would appreciate the support. Also, AAM intakes, Chris and those guys, they help us out a lot. McLeod Clutches. Thanks again, guys. Please stay tuned. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to get back to us. Either one of us will respond right away. Other than that,
another shout out real quick to Keep Drifting Fun, who was on the YouTube on the chat. Thanks, Will.
Shout out to Taylor Ray for being a part of this. All you guys paying attention and listening. Thank you guys so much for being part of the show. We'll see you guys next week, and stay tuned through our social media.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everybody, and you all have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Adiós, adiós, niños del jardín, donde crecí.
Adiós, compadre, mami, mami.